Hey, everybody. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Look at that. You can see everybody the way I have it set up.
I can't wait to see what the stream
It's
layout
just-
looks
it's
like.
just a
And
split
hey,
screen.
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. How did you do is that a fade thing just part of the Skype window?
Yeah, I mean, if you can choose to have different setups for the for Skype. So I just like have it so it shows both at the same time.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
As you can see, we are joined by Reggie tonight.
How's everybody doing?
Thanks for doing it on such short notice. We were kind of back and forth on ideas of what to do tonight, so.
Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah, and we met Reggie for the first time at the Missouri Game Con back in August. It seems like it wasn't that long ago already.
I know, right?
It might have been the end of July. You all can still hear me, right? By the way, because I think I just no. Wait, dang it! I didn't fix it. I don't know.
You're totally fine.
I'm hearing myself in my. I thought I fixed it, but I didn't. I'm hearing myself back in my headphones, and I don't know why.
Do you have your whatever you're using to feed the computer? Do you have it set to listen to this device?
No, that is turned off, and I just now tried routing that to a different device, and I still hear myself. So,
was Missouri Game Con at the end of July? I feel like
I think it was.
It was in August.
It might have been at the end. I'm trying to remember.
Or maybe it was early August. I can't quite remember.
Well, regardless, it doesn't feel like it was 4 months ago.
That long ago.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be playing some Dynamite Cop. Reggie actually suggested a bunch of other games that I don't have. He's like, "Oh, you should play Carrier." It's like I don't have it. And then what was the other one you said? But you suggested a bunch of stuff that I don't have. I mean, I guess I could download it if I wanted to, but
you did have Dynamite Cop, which is awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a good suggestion because I actually played this in co-op probably, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. My friend I played it with, I wasn't real sure how he was going to take to it because he's not like a big Dreamcast guy. But we both got just really into it. I mean, it's just it's so stupid and simple, but it's stupid and simple in a good way. But I'm really curious to see how Coury does here because there's 3 main missions and it's basically just a different entry point onto the ship, and the whole scenario plays out a little bit differently, but the broad strokes are pretty much the same. But the mission 1, I'm pretty sure you have infinite continues, so it's no effort really to beat the game. But then mission 2 and 3 can be a fair bit harder. We knocked out mission 2, I think, on our first try, but I almost feel like maybe we got lucky because mission 3 took us a number of tries before we got to the end of that.
Do you unlock stuff?
You do. You actually unlock a lot of stuff in this game. There's your controller. Actually, if you have a rumble pack in your controller, when you get near a certain enemy, I believe it will vibrate, and you could get some kind of portrait or something like that. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm trying to remember because
I think the VMU makes like a noise or something. And we thought at first we thought it was like a low battery signal or something.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I turned it off in the options because I just tried messing around with it at first because I couldn't get this game to load at first, and it turns out that it's actually incompatible with the official Sega 4X memory card.
Huh.
I had to look it up, and because it tries to save your game when you first boot it, and it just freezes the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising because I think this game was already out before that was released. It really sucks because I have that 4X memory card set up so perfectly that the way I have my save games distributed on it, you have to click this button and it switches through 4 memory cards. So it's like having 4 memory cards in one without a screen or anything.
That really doesn't sound like an official thing, but I'll take your word that it is.
No, it's definitely official. But the first memory card on there has 1 block free. And the second memory card on there had has 6 blocks free, and that's where I was going to save this game to, because this game takes 5 blocks. I would have had 1 block free on it. And I have no blocks free on the third one, and then like 100 and something on the fourth one. But luckily, I had a regular VMU here, so I can just use that.
So did you guys know that this was the sequel to Die Hard Arcade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, maybe when it was new, I had no idea, but definitely
I
since then, I'm gonna go ahead and start.
Yeah, I think the sort of the generic main character that you can choose, the first main character that you can choose in this, his name is Bruno, which I assume is inspired by Bruce Willis.
Yeah, they had to change the name.
Well, I mean, but wasn't Bruce Willis always kind of like referred to as Bruno, like for short?
I don't know.
In places, I've heard him referred to as that.
Well, on the Japanese cover of the game, it was exactly like looked like a Bruce Willis on the cover. Like they took his image and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious that it's him in the Japanese.
The artwork for the American version of this game, I think, is great on the cover. Like, it's just really ridiculous looking. But yeah, like Reggie was saying, you can unlock, like, we looked through, like, the unlockable artwork and stuff, and there's just, like, it feels like they, like, put a lot of effort into, like, crafting this really stupid world. It's just kind of really unnecessary, but it's cool. There's also, like, you can unlock an online comic that is ON-line comic that I assume was maybe used as some sort of promotional comic on the website, and you know, so now you can finally view the online comic at home.
Oh, nice.
You know, I feel like you should definitely play as all the characters in your attempts. Like, never play as Bruno for this first one, but I feel like he was probably the least interesting of the characters. I mean, at first I was like, oh, he's got a monkey, but the monkey, like, isn't in the game.
it's just in the picture.
Yeah, it's just in the picture. I'm like, okay, this guy
like,
might be pretty cool.
I mean, they're in the design. There's like, you know, why not give him a monkey? I mean, why not?
But Gene, like, I never quite figured out how to reliably
do this combo. Oh, it's a Blast City cabinet. I just picked up that Sega Blast City cabinet.
But Gene does this combo where she just like gets them on the ground and just like
starts
does
twisting
this,
and
suplex on their legs and like twists their legs around like 6 times, and it's just like, it is brutal.
Yes. I remember the first time I played this game in Korea, because at that time, like, the PS2 was like out of stock, sold out everywhere, so everybody had their Dreamcast, and I had this game, and you know, everybody saw me playing it, and they saw like the brutal moves you could do, and they just went crazy for it. So,
what were you doing in Korea?
I was in the military at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the Dreamcast was like, I think they were like $40 brand new at the PX, which is like our like Best Buy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was a great time. And nobody knew about this game, and they saw me playing it, and it just everybody wanted it. It's so fun and crazy.
It's like not even a machine gun; it's just a laser gun I could use.
There's a lot of the, you know, sort of the quick time events, and I think for a lot of them, either if you succeed, then you get to skip a scene, or sometimes I think you just get hurt or something. Or there might be other effects from what it seemed like, but like sometimes though, I have a hard time deciding whether I prefer the scene where you succeed or the one where you fail.
They're all funny. I love the one where the guy's in the bathroom and you run in there and do the drop kick. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like, there's this one pretty early on where and I love how like all 3 characters like have the exact same animation when they're in the cutscene, in the little quick time cutscenes. But also she like fits in that suitcase, and that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the president's daughter in there, right?
The sad thing is, like with each successive mission, she's like hid in a different spot, and each one is like less fun than the last. Like,
why am I in different clothes suddenly?
Huh?
I'm like suddenly in different clothes.
Oh,
you lose clothes when you get damaged.
Oh,
yeah. It's like real-time car damage here, except on your clothes.
Yeah, you'll be barefoot and a t-shirt and all that. Like if you have like low energy.
it's amazing.
Yeah, the president's daughter. She's like in the first mission.
Just like the slow motion of him. Like I pressed the right.
You missed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that guy is just like walking out of the room, and like I don't think he's not gonna do anything to you. Like he almost looks like he's gonna wave at you. He's just like, oh hey. but there's this one scene where you like run down a hallway, and like if you fail the action, you like try to kick them, and you like they move out of the way, you like go flying through the door, and if you succeed, you do just like this like really casual, just slug them in the face and turn the corner instead.
Yeah.
You end up going to a different next scene depending on whether you succeed or fail.
This guy is two Tommy guns.
Oh, those guys can actually be pretty mean. There's so when you beat mission 3, you can play missions 4, 5, and 6, which are based on 1, 2, and 3. But they have special rules, and I think the rules are different for each of them. So mission 1, I think either projectiles or just weapons in general deal more damage. Mm-hmm. So those machine gun guys, those dual machine gun guys, they are brutal.
Yes, you got him.
Oh, there it was.
There you go.
Sometimes you slug the guy when you run by, but sometimes I think he moves out of the way.
Does this guy pick up a big like loaf of bread?
Yes, you can feed people with baguettes.
This game is so hilarious.
So the funny thing is, mission 1, 2, and 3, you go to a different dining hall. So this one is like a French dining hall, and then the next scene is going to be this, like you're going to be like going against this French chef. But then, mission 2 and 3, I forget what those are. I think one was Chinese and one was Japanese, maybe. So you're like, but in the kitchen environment is different too. But each mission, when you go into the kitchen, there's this quick time where the shutters close down, and it's kind of like that one scene in Resident Evil 5 where they dive under the thing,
French roll.
But anyway, when we were playing it, we succeeded every single time. We were just so curious what would happen if we missed that. So I think the last time we attempted mission 3,
whoops.
We were like,
whoops, my feet are caught.
Oh, okay. So you just saw. That's what I was going to say. Like we succeeded that every time. And when it closes on your feet, it's just like, it looks brutal.
Oh.
So isn't there a scenario, I'm trying to remember right, one of those missions, the boat is actually sinking while you're in it. And
yeah, I think that happens on mission 1 and 3.
Okay.
And but the boat starts sinking, but then you are still playing on it for a good while. But then you catch this helicopter, and I think it's player 2 maybe that
It's throwing explosive carrots at me.
I think it's player 2 grabs onto the helicopter they're just hugging the whole rail of the bottom rail of the helicopter. This is so goofy looking, so goofy.
They should make more games like this. I think they're afraid to take risks these days making games like this.
Yeah. I mean, this is, you know, I knew a lot of people who had Dreamcast. I didn't have one back in the day, and I was not really a Sega guy at the time. But like, much more recently, I've really come to respect like what the Dreamcast was, what it represented, because it's just like they were just so unafraid to make these just like really goofy and fun games. They didn't care if it was stupid as long as it was fun. You know, there is something special to be said for that.
So is there no real levels in it? It just kind of moves like seamlessly throughout the game. Like
you just go in the different sections for each mission, and
I mean, there's the occasional cutscene and stuff like that, but.
So I'm going to be curious what happens at the end for you, because if you're playing in 2-player, then it's kind of like isn't it Double Dragon Arcade?
Like, Double Dragon,
where you have to fight each other at the end.
Yeah, it's hilarious too, because the girl's like she said, yeah, now you must fight for me or something like
that. Yeah, I think I forget exactly how she puts it, but it's just like you're not even like fighting for her. She just like wants to be impressed and see who can win or something. I don't know what it is, but it's really weird. Now I do think, if I remember right, though, I do think Bruno's monkey is there with her. That's one time the monkey appears. I think if I remember right,
the monkey appears.
The monkey was cheering like next to her, and she's just like, yeah, just like watching you fight. And like we never quite figured out the mechanics of it, because like you can continue, and I don't remember if you had to like run down all of your continues or what. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
But funny though.
Yeah. It definitely caught us off guard, because it didn't seem like something.
Oh, I got some beef. Got a big piece of beef.
That's hilarious.
Have you beat Die Hard Arcade, Coury?
No. That's one I would definitely like to have.
I beat it back in the day, and I had to play it a couple of times because they reward you with more credits.
I love it when games do that. That's one of my favorite. You know, kind of, that really encourages the replayability.
Yeah.
Also, actually added a game. I forgot what it was called, where you had to do some kind of deep sea missile.
Oh yeah, like the deep scan or something like that.
And you get extra lot credits by doing that. So I would do that.
There's I think there's a mode like this in this game, but we couldn't quite figure out how to earn points. Or credits. I don't think we ever did. There's like it's like a safari thing, like, and you like, it's like this like Atari looking it's like this Atari looking game, and you like drive this truck around. You're like supposed to like shoot certain animals and bring it back to your truck. It's kind of weird.
I just saw Coury's going.
Yeah, I was not looking when this missile launcher looks really dumb. It's like the one out of Commando, but it's like way shorter.
This the stream quality looks really good. You were telling me earlier today about you changed how you have your Dreamcast hooked up?
Yeah, but I'm not using it right now.
How are you streaming it right now?
I'm just streaming with the Toro directly into the SCART, and then.
Oh, okay. To the Frame Meister?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about, just like having that as an option for if I want to use the OSSC, because the kind of the big thing that I think we talked about it briefly last week was about combining the OSSC with the FrameMeister. And I guess it looks particularly good with Dreamcast stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously you would have, you would get the lag back, but it seems like there could be some visual advantages to that.
Right. Oh, geez, there's a sea monster?
Oh, my God. Hilarious.
Yep. One time we just like wrecked it, but some of the other times we had a lot of trouble. Like it's difficult to avoid its attacks.
Yeah. What are the P's that I pick up?
If you collect 5 P's, then you just kind of get into power-up mode, and I think you just deal more damage. I think there might be certain moves that you can do that you
All your
can't
moves-
otherwise.
All your moves become like advanced. Like if you grab somebody, like with the girl Ivy, she'll do all the twists and breaking
Oh,
Okay.
and all crazy like. And I forgot what Bruno actually does exactly, but it was pretty brutal too.
I forget if it's when you have full power or if it just if you can do it in another way. But you can like hold up enemies when you have a gun. I think it has to be like a handgun. I don't think a machine gun counts. But you can like
This thing is called the
like-
Kraken.
you
Just flat out, it is the Kraken.
but you can like hold up the enemies and like you actually like I forget what he says. He says something kind of funny, and like he like literally ties them up, and then they like hop away and then like fade out. Like they hop.
Oh wait, so now they're leaving with the girl.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, now
So-
you're swimming. Okay, I still remember this level.
Yeah, this is like a bonus, like recover your health, sort of level.
It's pretty funny too. All those boats are coming after you.
yeah.
Something funny about the FMV. I mean, the FMVs are obviously pretty lo-fi even for the time, but you know, it's definitely a reminder of a time when characters didn't always have like texture on the skin. It was
Right.
just like a solid flesh-colored.
Oh,
tone.
is that thing in there? Is that
Gotta be
is that a chicken leg from Golden Axe?
It looks like the thing from Golden Axe. It does.
I think they're called chicken legs. Like it's. What does the chat
chicken
say?
leg?
Yeah, if you look, do a.
Oh, that creature?
Yeah, do
Yeah,
a.
that
Uh,
one
Creature's called a
you were
chicken
right.
leg?
yeah, do a search for it. I'm pretty sure they're called chicken legs.
There's I want to say that this scene is not in mission 2, but it is in mission 3, and it's something else. Like I think it's fish instead of chicken.
Ah,
What chicken leg golden axe?
Yeah, it's a little purple thing that's like a little.
Oh yeah. It's called. Oh, did you know there was a golden axe wiki?
It doesn't surprise me.
wow.
If ever there was a series of Nina, a compilation of all the lore, it is golden axe. Yeah, that's an interesting looking critter. I don't know. It is called chicken leg, or in Japanese, it is chicken regu. That's literally what it says, chicken regu.
So with this Golden Axe talk, I mean, do you guys? There's that one Golden Axe game I always wanted to come out on systems. Where it was called Ghost.
Oh, Revenge
It was
of
called. I mean, not. It was called Revenge of.
Death Adder. There's the
Yeah.
arcade.
Yeah,
What's his
not-
face? Joe from GameSec has an arcade PCB of it. I'm super jealous
really?
of it. Yeah,
Oh my god.
Oh, is that what he
it's
he
3
recorded
players.
some-
It's awesome.
Didn't he record
Yeah.
some footage for
Yes.
the Switchers episode from that game?
Yep.
I can't believe that game is not out on some kind of system.
I know,
That's
and
an
you know,
amazing game.
that's like a series that I only really liked the first one. I didn't like 2 and 3. We didn't get here.
Hmm.
It just like 2 just felt, you know.
Like it was just tacked on.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like really rushed and kind of like
Yeah.
the sound effects were bad and like it just didn't have that feeling that the original had. And I mean, maybe that's. I was very disappointed with it when it came out and I played it because I love the first one. I really love the original. That's one arcade game that I would love to have, but it's
How
like
did
$300
you,
bucks.
Did you play 3?
I played it like a little bit, like on compilations and stuff,
Hmm.
but I was never really that impressed with it, and I've heard that it's not considered to be that great, anyways.
Right.
How do you like Golden Axe Warrior?
Oh, I mean that's
That's the
Master.
Saturn one, right?
No,
Or-
it's the Master System.
I'm
one.
thinking the Zelda. I mean, I'm getting the name right there. The Zelda-like one, right?
Yeah, Golden Axe Warrior. Yeah, I used to have that. Like I don't know why I sold it. It was like one of the games that I sold when I got rid of a bunch of stuff. But it's like really expensive now.
Yeah, I wish I had it because I mean I think it looks good, but I haven't played it.
There we go. Okay, so my punches become like flaming punches.
Right.
When I get that.
And I think there's one icon you can pick up that just automatically brings you straight up to full power no matter how many you've picked up.
And also, if you grab them and jump off of the table, you can do like a power driver, like a noodle one, which is pretty funny. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there's some good stuff with these scenes.
Got him.
There's like 3 in a row.
He's getting it.
I love how they when they do the replays, they cut it into 4 quadrants for no reason.
Make it all dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's such a good game. I'll tell you what I think might be my favorite. This is just another stupid game, but what might be my favorite Dreamcast game that isn't ported to anything else is Bleed.
Oh yeah.
That game is so weird, but it's
and stupidly expensive, right?
It is now.
It's over $100. I was somehow graciously gifted it, but it is quite a game. It's like just like the exact right kind of good bad. It's like just playable enough to enjoy the weirdness of it all.
It was trippy because that was like the first horror game that you could actually die of a heart attack. It's like
there's all of these different meters that kind of reflect your health and state of mind, and you can't let your, I forget exactly what the meter was, but if it goes too high, then you run a risk of if your character sees something scary, then they could die.
Yeah.
that was another one of my favorite scenes right there, where he goes, your captain is long dead, and your character just puts his head, just goes, no.
He's fish bait.
Oh man.
It's Mask Day Pedro.
Pedro.
This game was hilarious.
So Reggie, you were recently featured in that. I don't know if it's out yet. Is that documentary Bits of Yesterday? Was it released?
No. Darren actually put out some test screenings of it, and he sent those out to some people, but it's not officially out yet. I think it's coming out early next year. I'm not really sure.
We got to see a little bit of it when we were at Missouri.
Yeah, we saw a 20 or 30 minute preview of it at Missouri Con.
That's right. Yeah, he did some more editing on it. He made it shorter because the film was actually almost 2 hours long, so we cut it down quite a bit.
Oh wow!
And he showed some footage at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Okay.
So it was looking really good, man. He did a great job editing, man. I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Do you go to Portland Retro Gaming Expo every single year?
I've been going.
It's pretty close for you.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours away, and I've been going ever since 2011, and man, that's the best place to do my game hunting. Seriously, it's crazy. When I think I'm calming down on collecting games that I want, I always see something there, man. It's like, whoa, dude, I can't believe this. It's insane. It's like Disneyland for video game folks. People are willing to haggle, good deals. They want to let their stuff go, so they're not trying to have all these high, crazy prices.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
What are some of the conventions you've been to more toward the east?
None.
So is Missouri the furthest east convention?
Missouri is the first one. And,
okay.
Yeah, that was amazing too.
You should come out to Too Many Games sometime. That one is. I can't compare it to Missouri because not Missouri. I can't compare it to Portland because I haven't been there. But it is there are a lot of games at Too Many.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sure Portland is even Portland and Retropalooza are the two that we want to go to the most. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds. I've seen a lot of postings about the too many games from folks. It looks really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like. Say what?
Well, where's that one at exactly?
Near Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Okay, near Philadelphia. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to go to that one. We'll see.
We're kind of tired of MagFest right now. I mean, it's like. It's just like so big. I mean, the big thing that MagFest has is that it's got like lots of concerts. It's got lots of.
They accidentally blow up the island.
I assume on purpose, right?
No, he like knocks it over.
Like accident. It was an accident. Whoops. she like taps his head and she's just like, oh, you silly. Just like, whoops. Oh man, you know, it has got to be so liberating to
make a game like this.
To make a game that's just like, it's okay to be stupid. Like, you should try to make this as stupid as possible.
Yeah.
Because then you like,
it's like whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and like it doesn't like have to be good or make sense. Like, that's the point.
Just enough cheesiness. I love a game like this because it's something you can get into and get out real fast. You know what I mean? It doesn't take too long.
Oh yeah.
To get into it and play it. It's a lot of fun, and multiple ways of going through the story. Which, if you care about the story, which I do because I love it, dude. It's freaking hilarious.
Oh, what's this is gonna be like a little tease for? No, it's the game over on the box.
Yeah, I always hate it when you beat a game and it says game over. Like, it's just, you know.
Yeah.
I do not have positive connotations with that word.
All right, so after that happens, now I have like bonus gallery. That's like the. Let's see here.
Let's see what you got.
Just tranquilizer gun versus mode and survival mode. What is tranquilizer gun? Is it like something you can enable or something? I don't know. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh no, that's what I was talking about, like the animal hunting thing.
Oh, okay.
And like supposedly you can unlock credits in.
What is Showdown?
I think it's a 2-player like versus mode or something.
I'll do another one.
But tranquilizer gun, like supposedly you can unlock credits, I think, for mission 2 or 3 in that, but we couldn't find any information. Oh man, I hope you get to use Gene's brutal twisting the legs move.
Yeah, he will.
It's so good.
She's the first character I used in this game, and when I saw that, dude, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. That was brutal.
It's like the most painful looking thing I've ever seen in a game.
I mean, she keeps twisting and twisting and
it doesn't stop.
Oh man.
I see there's a little talk about MagFest in the chat. Like, we're definitely not going this year. It just, we didn't even.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to go back. Like, I'm in favor of a MagFest revival at some point, but it's just like most of the people that we hang out with at MagFest like weren't really able to make it this year anyway, or at least a lot of them weren't. And I think a lot of people were kind of feeling MagFest fatigue after the last year or two. And two, we've gotten so spoiled by
lots of games to buy.
Lots of games to buy at places like Too Many Games and Missouri Game Con, and like MagFest just doesn't have that. Like the first time I went to MagFest, I'd never been to anything like that, and I wasn't like I was mostly buying retro games on eBay. Like I wasn't really aware of like my local shop scene and stuff like that at the time. And like MagFest like really made me catch that bug. Like I realized how fun it was to be like just browsing through like all of these games in person.
Yeah.
And I really.
And you're always willing to spend a little bit more money in those situations, I feel like.
Right. Well, because like, you know, you see it, it's good condition, you don't see it often. It's like, yeah, you know, I could buy it on eBay, but I don't know if it's going to be as good as this one.
That's true.
You know, so, you know, it's okay. But but Too Many Games and Missouri have just been so much better, and I'm sure places like Portland and Retro World are just so much better for that aspect.
Retro World is another one we were gonna go to.
MagFest is a fantastic hangout con.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's been for. I would say for the most part, but it just seems like a lot of our friends just aren't going to be able to make it recently, and it's not been the same. So I would like for us to be able to encourage more of our friends to go to places like Too Many Games and stuff like that. And maybe we can start up some con gatherings elsewhere.
Dude, at the Mo Game Con, it was so fun because not only all of us we were all together going around and looking at all these different stores. That was just so much fun. And
because you were there a little bit earlier, so you got to go and do like some local shopping too.
Yeah, there was one guy's store that we went to. Dang, I can't remember the name right now, but he had a complete PlayStation set, and I mean I'm a PlayStation guy, so that was just pretty amazing for me to see. Mm-hmm. And you guys know John Riggs. He did a video there,
right?
And it's just, man, it was just overwhelming for me. I was like, well,
I think I might have seen that.
But that event was a lot of fun, and very professional too, man. I was like, everybody was really nice.
Mm-hmm. I could really tell that, because I don't think there's like anything quite like it, even remotely else in the region. Right. You could really tell that like the people from St. Louis were like really proud to have their own con like close to home. Like they're big supporters of it.
I want to use that vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah, the vacuum cleaner is pretty cool. You just saw how the president's daughter went from
she's under the bed now
in a suitcase to hiding under the bed. And I think the third one she's hiding in like a closet. It's just like less interesting every time.
Do I lose any health when I use like the double button attack?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of health.
Yeah.
All right, then I gotta.
You need to figure out. I think you might have to have full power, or there might be another way to. You need to figure out how to do when you've got the handguns, where you can do the hold up. And,
I always do it by accident.
I think I sort of figured it out at one point, but I can't remember how to do it right now. But it's such a neat thing because they just like get tied up and then they're like on their knees and they just like hop away with their hands tied behind their back and then fade out. So good.
You gotta pick up the bow and arrow and she like arms and
so now this is a nicer looking restroom.
Oh yeah. It's got the water fountain in there.
I forget if you can pick up the urinals. I think you might be able to.
I think you can.
Oh man. Oh yep. I gotta kick him off the wall first. Incredible. I mean, whoa.
Bring this game back like on the PSN or Xbox Live.
Seriously.
I think it did come to arcade, didn't it?
It was in this arcade. There's a remake of Die Hard Arcade on the PS2.
I have that one on PS2. I have that one.
It's like the Sega Ages.
Oh, it's Japan only, right?
Yeah, but it's really good. It's really well done.
It's cool because you could play the original Saturn version and the new PS2 version.
Oh, okay. Is it relatively affordable compared to the Saturn version?
It's a little bit. It's kind of up there. I mean,
how much is the Japanese version of Dynamite Deca? Let me look it up.
I don't know.
Because you don't really need, like the English language at all.
No, nope.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This strikes me as a game that might have English voiceover even in the Japanese version.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, she was like doing like a crazy kicking thing.
You're almost powered up.
Oh, it's not too bad. I mean, here it's like.
You see, Coury, what you just did, if you did that with all 5 power-ups, it would have been brutal.
Look at her just go.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh man, that's one of them.
You started it, but you didn't finish it.
I got some samurais. You just use the same button?
I think the one with the one we're talking about is the one with the kicks. So you start kicking at them and.
Looks like you can get the Saturn version of Dynamite Deca for mid-20s.
That's not bad at all.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Oh wow! Looking at that Japanese cover, yeah, that is so Bruce Willis.
That's Bruce Willis all the way.
It's so funny that they just like totally ripped it off, and then they were able to get the license for the U.S. release. Like, did no one look at this and think, this is a little silly to be Die Hard? But hey, whatever.
I got a pepper shaker for a weapon. I can shake pepper at their face.
Is it Bruno and Jean in the first Dynamite Cop?
No, it's another lady.
Oh,
okay.
I forgot her name, but she's totally different.
Oh, it's not a French restaurant. It's a Japanese restaurant now.
Oh,
Yeah. And I think the third mission might be Chinese.
There's a big fish.
and the big fish does massive damage too.
Does it?
Yeah, it does good damage if you can.
I think if you blow up the fridge, you can get like a box of grenades out of it.
Nice.
Too bad there's no way to block. yeah. It sounded like he was like saying, "Damn."
I think if you double tap jump, you like can roll out of the way. Or dash out of the way or something.
There are grenades.
You can just like... They threw the remains of the fridge at him. Let's see.
Nice.
Here we go. Let's try these.
Oh, there's a gun on the table.
I'm gonna get the power up.
Jumbo Matsu.
He's dropping health packs. Oh, he's dead. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, I have 7 continues left. The last boss was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he teleports and shoots you with that laser.
I want to say that the Mission 2 version of the final boss might be easier because the first and the third take place in the same spot, and they've got like this stump or post in the middle of the arena. And I want to say that is not there in Mission 2, which sort of made it a little easier to maneuver and like get to him like right when he teleports.
What kind of gun is that?
So Reggie, like, you told us about the Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris that we had no idea was a physical copy. That's pretty awesome,
dude. So when I was talking to Adam at the Mo GameCon, because he noticed we were talking because he knows I like the PAL, finding out PAL releases of games and stuff like that because I'm really into the PAL scene right now. And I found out about that game. I was like, "Whoa, you serious?" And I picked it up, and he was the one that told me about it.
Wow.
And it's weird because our version, we just got a download code inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like I think like maybe the worst way to do it. I mean,
well, that's like a slap in the face. You know,
yeah.
Who would do that?
Like Cuphead is doing that right now, and that annoys me.
It's almost like it's intentionally deceptive.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that happened. So when DuckTales Remastered was announced, they announced it as it was going to be a physical, but then they got quiet about it. And then next thing you know, we get the one with the download voucher inside.
Right.
And people were thinking that was it, but I knew that they had said it, you know. And then next thing you know, we get the physical version that comes out. So it's like, ugh.
Do you find yourself
I mean,
buying? I mean, I've kind of stopped buying like digital stuff completely, unless it's something I absolutely have to have right away.
Right.
Because I'm just I haven't even bought Sonic Mania because I'm just there's got to be a physical edition coming at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I've kind of lost hope on is the Phoenix Wright games, and it's just I love those games, so I'm buying the digital of that because I mean I don't think it's going to get any better for those anytime soon, but
right.
But yeah, I've been holding off because it's been pretty consistent. Most of the really good stuff is getting physical releases. I feel you mentioned DuckTales Remastered. That was kind of on the front end of when that trend sort of really started, I feel. And so we did have to wait a while, but it did happen. And it's really, it's kind of funny. I think
Here we go. She's doing it. Whew.
Oh
man.
Can't wait to see it.
There's 12 moves to it.
Here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's the most painful thing I've ever seen in a video game.
Oh my god, this is brutal.
Come on, I'm gonna pick up these missiles. The airship missiles.
I forget if I said this on stream or I remember mentioning it to Coury that I almost feel what's defined the PS4 for me more than anything is these smaller games that are getting these physical, whether they're limited physical releases or more widespread, but it's these games that in the previous generation you would not have expected, with only very few exceptions, to have gotten physical releases, and it's actually become shockingly commonplace, and more so than the AAA games, it's these small physical releases of these indie games or smaller games that really is what's defining the PS4 for me.
Oh, definitely. I just found out about one indie game recently. It's from the creator of the original Alone in the Dark.
Oh, really?
It's called Too Dark. And
is that Too Dark with a number 2?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. Actually.
Is it really?
Yes, dude. Yeah.
I was literally thinking I was making a joke here.
And this game, I think it came out maybe about a year ago, digital, but they made a physical release for PAL territories, and you can pick it up on Amazon. It's basically a survival horror with a top-down survival horror game where a detective is trying to rescue children from crazy people, people that are trying to kill them and stuff like that. So the game is pretty dark, but it looks like a Zelda game, which is pretty amazing. And
Too Dark.
You'll see it. It comes in a special edition. It goes for around $25 to $30 in the most, and it comes with a steel book, a manual, art book, and a soundtrack. Oh. And that's an amazing package.
For $30.
You know what I mean? So yeah, check that game out.
Yeah,
it sounds good. Did you finish it? Did you play through it?
I didn't finish it. The game is crazy because they have booby traps. The first level, you go into a carnival where these crazy clowns that kidnap some kids, and you have to watch out because you have a gun because you're a private detective, but if you shoot, you could alert somebody. So you have to kind of hide and look around and stuff like that. But it's I got killed a lot, so I put it down for a little bit and tried something else. But I'm gonna finish it soon. But it's a really cool game, and nobody would know about it either, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many random things just coming out on the PS4. I sometimes I just go on Amazon and you click on the Soydesco makes just is constantly releasing games, and there's no fanfare or anything about it. They're just they disappear.
It's it's almost like going back to PS2 and PS1 days where there's just
exactly.
these budget titles that, you know, back in the day, in those days, I would have ignored it, but I've kind of got a respect for that kind of stuff now, especially because I think the whole like independent developer scene is much more developed than it was at that time, and they are making legitimately interesting things, whereas back in the PS2 days or PS1 days, it may have just been because the developer didn't have a lot of money, so they may have made a subpar game when there may have been a few gems in there, for sure. But yeah, it's really like that, where it's just like there's so much stuff that it's just like, you know, some things that would really surprise you that, you know, it might look like a goofy game at first sight, but it's like really fun. Or you know, especially when these physical games come out, it's like that's almost how I hear about some of these indie games, rather than when they're released as a download. It's like, oh, it's physical, like I should like take this more seriously and like look it up and see if this is something I would actually be interested in.
Right.
That's how I discover it.
I feel like a lot of the indie games too, man, like you don't have to deal with too many patches when you get the physical versions for them.
Yeah, because
like
they've been out. Yeah, because they've been out for, you know, several months or half a year or longer sometimes, and it's like it's pretty established like what it is, and yeah, there's not a lot of patches.
Oh,
I feel like this is like longer. Like
this is funny. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
This game is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of expensive, but not like stupid.
Well, what's it going for nowadays?
I think I paid like 25 for this.
Yeah, which was a crazy deal for you. Like I got it for a good deal too. Like I want to say it's more like 45 to 50 typically, but I think I got for like 40-ish.
Okay.
I got mine at a local shop just like, well, so like 2 months ago maybe.
Another game that's kind of like this on the system is Zombie Revenge.
Oh yeah, I just got that one too.
Did you? Okay. That one is the only one I got to the end, but I never beat that one. I need to finish it someday.
And that's like I used to have it. See, there's so many Dreamcast games that I used to have, and I just like never expected them to like go up in price, I guess, because I was working game retail like when the Dreamcast died, so I just was able to get so many things at the time.
Was that a sad time? Like when you were working?
Well, I mean, especially like I was a Sega kid growing up, and I loved the Dreamcast, and you know, it was definitely kind of sad, but I was like, games were like $5, and you just buy tons of stuff.
I was like so disappointed when I read in the magazine that they were stopping production of the Dreamcast. Like, wow, it just came out, and you know, I think I was like in my early 20s when that happened, but everything started to become really cheap, so I started collecting for it more. But it was just sad to see a system like that go, because the Dreamcast, like with the games that came out for it, they didn't care. They didn't care how the game was. You know, they put something like this out on PS2. This game might not have came out on the PS2. You know what I mean? They were right. I don't know. It seemed the Dreamcast wasn't afraid to take risks.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Coury talks all the time about this, and he's absolutely right. Like, what a crazy time it was, where it's just game after game after game coming out, and you think about, I mean, the Dreamcast was around for like roughly a year and a half before they announced it was being discontinued. And you like, every time I think about that, I'm like, wow, was it really that short of a time? Like, that is an insanely short amount of time when you think about all the stuff that's on it and like all the stuff that's like sought after and loved on the system. Like,
I mean, it's incredible. Like, I think like the second year of the Dreamcast, like Sega was just like cranking out so many good things at the time. You know, like so many of the best games on the system came in that second year. You know, like Jet Set Radio, Skies of Arcadia.
2.
Yep, Power Stone 2.
Oh, I love that game.
I mean, Capcom was like all in on the system too, which was cool.
Oh yeah.
Like all their arcade stuff.
But it's so crazy. I mean, you think about a year and a half of most other systems. Like, I mean, especially the ones that are out now. Like, they are not going to have the library that the Dreamcast has in that same span of time.
Doesn't it trip you guys out how people are still making games for the Dreamcast today?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that it's like kind of like become an option for a physical release of certain little games. Like, what was it? What's the Viking game? Volgar the Viking?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like I forget if they released like one that you could actually buy, or if you just have to burn your own copy. But like you can play it on Dreamcast.
It would be cool if they released their own.
If they did, I would buy that.
It's hard to say. I mean, now that it's like out on the, it came out on the Xbox One. It's a download.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is it physical or
no?
Download?
I wish it was physical.
Is it a Xbox One console exclusive?
Yeah, which is weird. I mean,
they might do a physical, but that almost seems too small for them to even do. Like, I mean, you know, we hope that.
Man, this last boss is pretty hard in this.
Yeah, he's blocking a lot of stuff.
He's relatively brutal. But this, I want to say this is the easiest version of him, because that post in the middle of the other arena really messes you up.
Yeah.
I'm out of continues though. I'm not gonna beat it. I'm gonna be so close.
You said gun.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You can do it.
It's
almost there. Get that gun, yeah. Oh, he's teleporting.
He's I did it.
Oh
yes! Oh my god, we didn't see the ending. Yes. That was close, dude.
Did they give you less continues on the third route?
No, they give you the same amount, I thought.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's the same amount or if it's less, but it's definitely harder, or at least we had a harder time for some reason.
she like reprograms the missile like at the last second.
That's hilarious.
Just like
And isn't it the same bad guy in the first game?
It looks exactly like him, but he looks more like a pirate in this one. In the first one, he looks like more modern, like with a suit and everything.
Yeah, it's just based on Hans Gruber, probably.
But when John and I were playing this, I want to say that we maybe got into the final boss fight in Mission 2 with our power meters full. So I think we like tore them up like right from the beginning, and so we definitely had an advantage there. I do think though, in 2-player mode you share continues.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe it is a bit easier then. I mean, I'm gonna try it. I've beaten two of them.
It's hard to say. So yeah,
I think the third path is when you go underwater, right?
You enter from underwater, but in a lot of ways, it's. I don't think there's a lot of new content other than like the entry area in Mission 3, because it ends in the same place that the first mission ends in.
Okay.
So there's a lot of overlap. There's a motorcycle scene in Mission 3 that I don't think was in the others. Maybe was the motorcycle scene in any of the others, or was I just not paying attention?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Go move it.
Eddie.
I want to say Eddie's like got the most powerful kick, if I remember right.
Yeah.
No, you only get 4 continues.
Whew.
4?
Yeah, so like they're essentially difficulty modes, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, let's see how far I get.
So I was gonna ask you guys about the Saturn. You know, because the Saturn somewhat died out earlier than it should. Do you guys think of a lot of the Japanese games that came over here to America that the Saturn would have lived longer?
Oh yeah.
Maybe. I mean, what was it? I mean, there was like sort of. Sega was just being like. Wasn't there like a rule where they didn't want to bring over like a lot of weird stuff back then or something?
Oh, I don't think there was like any rule
am I
that
making
they
that
had.
up?
That was like more of a Sony thing where they didn't want to have 2D games.
Yeah,
that was Sony.
I'm thinking of Sony. Yeah.
But in terms of like stuff, I don't know why they didn't bring stuff over. I think it was like all what's his face, Bernie Stolar. It was like his issue maybe.
Well, that's who I was thinking of. I was confusing that with Sony not wanting to bring over like 2D games, but yeah, I mean it may have, like, I feel like the Dreamcast got like a bad reputation early on, and not the Dreamcast, the Saturn.
Saturn just in the US had such a bad launch in the US. And I mean,
to be honest,
Gaming Historian just did a video on like the big 3 Sega mistakes.
Mm.
You know, and he put, you know,
32X.
Yeah, 32X it was like my pick, but he put the Saturn launches like their biggest mistake.
See, I feel like I've never quite understood why that was such. I mean, I understand like from a retail perspective why it was a bad move, but like from a fan
this is
perspective,
like the gun from RoboCop.
I feel like from a fan perspective though, like if I was a Sega fan back then, like I think I would have been like freaking out. Like at that time, I wouldn't have had the money to all of this. I mean, actually, the Saturn was released for like really expensive, right? What was it?
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was like $400.
Yeah. I mean, let's assume that it was affordable. Let's assume it was affordable, and like all of a sudden they just Nintendo announced the Switch in October. I think it was October last year. You know, if they with that announcement said, "Oh, by the way, it's available now," I would have been freaking out. Like, it would have been the best day of my life. So it's always like been a little strange.
But I mean,
to
it's easy to say that, I think, as an adult that has that money that you could spend it. You know, if you know, it came down to the situation, you know, you could go and get it that day if you wanted to.
I mean, I might have had a heart attack before I got it, but I would have just been freaking out. Like, I probably would have had an accident on my way to the store.
Like a car accident, not like an accident in your pants.
Well, I mean, maybe all of the above. I'm thinking of car accident, but you know.
You know, it was weird. So back when the Saturn and PlayStation were the main systems, I had a choice to get a Saturn or a PlayStation, and you know, I was leaning more towards Saturn because they had that 3-game deal. If you buy the Saturn, you get 3 games. I forgot which ones they were, and at that time, they had announced Tomb Raider 2 and Resident Evil 2 for both the PlayStation and Saturn. So I was really looking forward to that game. And then it got canceled for the Saturn, and that was just it for me. I went PlayStation all the way.
Yep.
And yeah, Saturn was losing a lot of steam when that kind of stuff happened. But the main thing that drew me to it, because the 2D fighting games, if you had that RAM cart, you could play games like X-Men. Or it was the Marvel Superheroes used the RAM cart.
In the U.S., even the U.S. version used it. I just want to say really quick, thanks to Darchiska. Darciska, thank you for the donation. It says two of
my favorite channels coming together. Thank you.
Oh, look, that's cool. How weird is that they have like pictures of me like on the wall back there?
Wow.
That's very surprising to see. At least me in 1999 or 98 or 99 was when or 98 was when I was in the arcade probably.
But yeah, that RAM card, you know, 2D fighting games, Street Fighter 3 was coming out, and they were saying that was possibly going to be on the Saturn, so I was really wanting to get one, but I don't know, man. Like, I really wanted to play Resident Evil 2 because I loved Resident Evil 1, and what I loved about it the most is that I loved FMV games back in the day, so I loved the mix of FMV games with the regular 3D gameplay, and that was just amazing to me. I still love games like that add in like real acting. Like
yeah. I think we both have a big soft spot for that.
Yeah, like Bunker is one of them. That limited run release. Twisted Metal did the same thing.
I should have got that Bunker game. I felt like I'd been buying too many games at the time, so I was just like, I'll pass on this one. But I
should stream that. Maybe that's what I'll do. You know, I'll have to do that real soon. Be a good stream game, I feel like. I don't think it's too long either or too difficult.
Yeah. Limited Run is putting out some pretty cool games. They just announced Double Dragon 4 is going to be released.
Have you did you play the digital version of it?
I did, and I compared it pretty much to how people would have received it if it came out back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think it's the best Double Dragon out of the original NES ones.
Oh yeah, I can agree.
Just you tied up the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd been hearing it was real bad, but then I was talking to another friend who said, well, from what I'm gathering, it's like as good as the NES games, but it's just like they learned nothing since then. But if you like the NES games, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun.
It's weird that it runs at 30 frames per second. I guess is like, and it has like a VSync.
Did the original Double Dragon do that? I forget.
I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. No.
I mean,
I guess it's because it uses Unity. They made it on Unity, and that's like why it's. I did it.
I would have liked a more updated Double Dragon game because I actually a lot of people grew up with the Nintendo versions. I grew up with the arcade versions, so
same
they
here.
were more grittier and brutal, like Double Dragon 2, for instance. And in the Nintendo version, Marion allegedly gets killed, but then at the end of the game, you save her, she gets revived somehow. In the arcade game,
she just gets gunned down right at the beginning.
At the beginning, and you think you're going to rescue her at the end, but the only thing you're rewarded with is a Polaroid picture that Double Dragons took with her back in the day, and a teardrop, and that's it. And I was like, whoa! As a kid, when I saw that, I was like, man, that's messed up, dude. Like, it was almost like Optimus Prime, type death or whatever.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. I was 8 years old when I saw that, and Double Dragon 2 was really popular. And I remember I was at Bullwinkle's, which is Family Fun Center, and what they did was, since the game had so many people around it, they had another monitor on top so people could see what was going on in the game. So it was really cool. So yeah, just Double Dragon 2. That's one of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time. But yeah, hopefully they'll make another Double Dragon that's kind of similar to the arcade games. I hope.
Did you play Neon? Double Dragon Neon.
I love Neon.
Neon was incredible.
Yes, it was.
We streamed that, didn't we? Did we?
Yeah, I think it was it a backloggery stream? I think it was.
Yeah, it might have been.
And we were so close to beating it.
Yeah.
You know what happened was, remember I started Rygar, and I was just not really, I wasn't in the right mood for that game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you were just you were over here for
Is that when we did? No, it wasn't when we did Devil's Dare. It was it was before the channel, wasn't? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, because you never came here before the channel.
Right.
It might have been for Devil's Dare.
I might have still been there. It might have been the day after. Holy cow! Look at him. Using him as a weapon. No, I was took him by the feet.
Oh, there's the motorcycle.
Oh, can I? No, I think it was when. It must have been when we.
Was it limited run?
No. I think it was when we did. It was the first time I was there. Because
then that would have been for Devil's Dare.
Right, and then because we streamed something. No, we were not even streaming on here yet.
Okay, well it was a backloggery stream.
Yeah.
I think Drum couldn't do it for some reason, and then I think I started Rygar. You were just like, why don't you start Rygar? Because you had done a video on it maybe recently,
right?
And I started it, but I was just getting lost, and I felt like I wasn't making much progress, and it just didn't feel like the right game to be playing at the time. And you're like, oh, let's play Double Dragon Neon.
You're right.
Why weren't we thinking of playing a co-op game in the first place? Oh,
I was not looking. Realized I was streaming the stream. Hadn't paused the thing, so I had to. Oh well.
Man, that's hilarious.
Oh, that was good. That was real good. I don't think I ever saw that one. My favorite thing is that scene where the trader walks up to the president's daughter to like try to say like, "Hey, it's okay, come with me." Like the animation in that FMV is just like so. Like he bops her on the mouth. Like he's supposed to be like hushing her, but like his like hand like bops her and then like moves away. It's just like. Bop.
So about Double Dragon Neon, I just my friend Marc has just recently downloaded it because I told him about it, and it has such a great '80s vibe. Yeah. With the music, like that song called, I think it's called Mango Tango, which is on the second level. Yep. Oh man, that track is
the whole soundtrack is really good, but it just like has such a good sense of humor throughout. You know, like that's one I think I was saying when they announced when Limited Run was announcing that they're doing the Double Dragon 4. I said, you know, it's too bad that you can't like. There's no way to do Double Dragon Neon because it's like it's you know it's last generation now. It hasn't been ported to anything.
Yeah, like I'm not a big Double Dragon fan, but that's like the one game I would absolutely buy a physical copy of. Yeah, because like you know less for the gameplay and more just for the style. Like its style is so my thing.
Oh, Neon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, that's something we should do like a video of like games that are probably going to be lost that like we wish they would get. I know that like GameStack has done like a something very similar. You know, like games that we wish that there was digital downloads of.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if Limited Run would they do like previous generation Limited Run games like PS3
I don't even know if it'd be.
We asked them about that and. They said that the main reason that they haven't done that is because a lot of times those games were designed only for download distribution in the terms of the way that the game itself was structured to be streamed from the hard drive. And so if, you know, unless they like edited the game, I guess, to like do a full install. Like the system just wasn't in place like it is on modern systems where the game does a full install from the disk and then it plays it off the hard drive. The game was not set up to, like on PS3, for example, the game may have not been set up to stream media from a Blu-ray. Like it would not have worked without like editing the way that the game loads data.
Okay.
So in other words, it would require work that might be prohibitively costly in terms of time and money. So it's unfortunate, but you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe in some cases it could happen.
There are a couple of last generation games that I wish would get a physical release. Like there's Scott
Contra.
Pilgrim. I was about to say Contra 2. Yes.
Contra Hardcore is easily the #1 for me. Like, I so want a physical copy of that. Because that, like, I remember when that game came out, I thought people were kind of down on it. And me and Coury played it online.
Yeah.
And thought it was awesome.
It is. It's great, you know.
Like, it's different from other Contra games.
He jumps on the helicopter.
Especially in the sense that, like, you have a life bar and you buy things.
Yeah, the rising mode is great. Oh,
but but it's hard. No, rising is like where you upgrade. But then there's like a
rising upgrade
arcade mode or something. But like, I can't even imagine beating like the. You know, it like plays by like traditional Contra rules, and I can't even imagine beating that. But Rising mode is great. Like it's so cool. Like it's a different take on Contra, but it's really fun.
You know, the level where I think you ride the jet bike or the jet ski or something that. That boss is hard. I mean, you got to go all up. It's like a grid. You go up inside of it. You have to shoot the little areas out. I couldn't imagine playing that on arcade mode.
Yeah.
Like even the first level was pretty hard.
Yeah. First level was pretty crazy.
But I love that, you know, like you can upgrade your character and stuff.
It's kind of just sad to me because those games seem like they'll be lost in time because they're not. They don't
have
physical essence.
Yeah, and especially Konami don't care.
They don't. That's the sad part. They don't care.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah. I mean, if there's any way that they're not going to get a physical release, you know, that's just like on top of it. You know, so
I heard they were trying to redeem themselves. You know, they let the Castlevania license go to do the anime version, and then I heard they're trying to bring back. I don't know. I don't even want to say anything because I might be totally wrong. Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, who knows if there will ever be a proper Konami revival? But I'm feeling like no. But you know.
Well, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that the Hideo Kojima thing. They said he was the evil one. They're trying to say it was his fault. Like, he was
Oh, come
hard
on.
to work with. Yeah, I know, right? They're saying that now. You know, and then I don't know. They're trying to bring
And
back.
nobody
Metal Gear
is going to
Solid.
believe them.
Exactly, especially after the awards when they didn't uninvited him. That was that was horrible, unbelievable. But now they're making Metal Gear Survivor.
Yeah,
what do you guys think about that?
I have no interest, and it's launching for $39.99.
Really?
Really?
Huh.
Oh.
I mean, you know, they didn't need to build an engine for it.
No.
They're just recycling the engine he had.
Yep.
I know.
Well, he spent so long on the engine too. I remember.
know. I mean, he probably spent like half a decade just working on the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still need to beat Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
Well.
That game, like I have.
It's really fun to play, but it's just
yeah,
like
it's
I have
massive.
such mixed feelings about. Like, it's just,
I mean, like it's like I like. I guess in a way, I guess like maybe that's what would be good about Metal Gear Survive is that it's that gameplay, but it's not like tied to, you know, like what the expectations you would want you would have for a Metal Gear storyline, I guess.
Yeah, like the story so infrequently went anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you were just like doing all these meaningless missions that like weren't obviously tied to anything, and then like over the course of the game, like once you got to the end of a scenario, like you would sort of see how like some of the small things that happened like played in, but was nothing like crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Like it took so long to go anywhere, but the gameplay was very well done.
Right.
But like it just felt like the game was needlessly massive.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and you know, I'm just used to a Metal Gear Solid game that I know where to go, kind of maybe like linear. If I, you know, I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 4 was perfect for me. But
I mean, you want to
too much.
Like, very rarely would I play like a Metal Gear game just like mainly for the gameplay, and that's the thing is like the gameplay was like definitely the focus of 5.
yeah.
You know?
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But
Yeah.
just like, you know, like I wanted to see, you know, like where the story was gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, 3 is and will always be my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Snake Eater.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back and forth between Snake Eater. I think that Snake Eater is like the most, like I love the, you know, the whole progression of everything, and it's very fun to play.
I just like Big Boss as a character more than Solid Snake, and I like the setting that it takes place, the setting and the era, and I really love like the way that the way that the camo system and just general stealth system works.
Yeah.
Like I love like the percentage and getting hidden and stuff.
Right.
The bosses in that game were pretty amazing. Like I remember fighting the end for the first time. I was like, wait a minute, are we actually fighting?
You know what was so funny was I was
What's he doing?
when I was working on the PS2 episode, and I wanted to record some footage from Metal Gear Solid 3 HD, which I've beaten the HD version, but
Oh, we got wow.
I
Thank you,
lost
Reese, for the generous donation. Thank you very much. Of $10. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you. But anyway,
You're saying something about Metal Gear 3, I think.
Capturing the footage.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I was capturing footage from Metal Gear HD, and I can't. I had like a complete save, and I was like looking for just something like I just want to load up something mid game, and so like I had this one mid game save, and I was like, oh, like I wonder what this will be. Like maybe it'll just be some interesting footage to capture, and it was a save that I'd made for getting. I think there's a trophy that you can get if you let the end die of stage. Like if you like make a save and then like come back to that save like a week later or something, then he's just dead. And I forget if there's a trophy for it. I think there is, but I had made that save there, and I don't know if I'd ever load it up again. But like when I load that save, like the first thing that happened was the end was dead. I didn't even know I had that save.
That game has so many cool boss battles. My personal favorite was the Fury, fighting him in that crazy tunnel where he has that flamethrower flying around.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
It easily has the most interesting boss troop.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first one because at the time, you know, when it first came out, it was just incredible to, like, I just thought it was great. I'd never played really anything.
The funny thing is, like, back when it came out, the original game, it seemed like the wildest, craziest story in the world. And then, like, after playing all of the other Metal Gear games, you go back to the original and you're like, this is pretty tame.
Yeah.
This is weird, this tranquilizer gun.
So you can actually drive the truck around, like, to the other sides.
Interesting.
Because, like, if it, I think, like, certain animals can like come around and like trash your truck or something.
Huh.
So you have to put them in the truck or drag it to the truck, maybe?
Right. And then you get more points, and then you but if like an animal is coming around to like they either like trash your truck or like steal things from your truck or something, but you can like get in the truck and like move it further away.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's coming to trash it.
And I like how they had a timer until they wake up after the tranquilizer.
This is pretty interesting. Like it's kind of like a old Sega arcade game. Pretty neat.
This is how you earn extra continues, I think, but I have no idea.
Oh, really?
How. Yeah, but I don't know. From what I read, but I couldn't find any information on like how much you actually have to do to earn it.
Interesting.
Well, Coury, you almost beat the last game.
Yeah,
you were close, but you would have needed several continues for the final boss, I bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
And you were right there.
Yeah, I mean, if this opens up, some continues, that's pretty cool. I wonder what I got to do.
Ryan Pliskin is asking, what does everyone think of Metal Gear Rising? Crazy opinion.
I love Metal Gear Rising.
Metal Gear in years. Oh, I would agree with that. I had much more fun with that.
I love Platinum games. Like anything the Platinum Games does, I'm pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I had much more fun with that than I did with Metal Gear Solid 5, to be honest. I feel like Platinum was like the one company that could make a Metal Gear game without Kojima's direct involvement that like would really work, because they've got a very distinctive style, and like they're not afraid to do something really silly in the name of just making it awesome.
Yeah. And that game was in limbo for a while, but thankfully they got together and made it come out. That's
right. Amazing. I think because they were trying to handle it in house and it wasn't working out, like it just wasn't coming together. And then they talked to Platinum and they were like, "Well, let us do our own thing with this and we'll make it awesome." And they did.
They did, yeah. They did. Boss battles in that game were insane too. Oh my god, Sundowner, when you fight him, whew. those are some epic boss battles. Seriously,
I gotta replay it someday.
Yeah, I only played through it the one time.
But you know what? They made DLC for it, and the DLC is free, and you get to play as a Jetstream Sam, I think his name.
Oh yeah, I have the DLC for it.
And you get to play as the dog, too.
Oh.
Yeah, you get to play him in his own scenario. It's pretty awesome.
There's somebody in the chat was asking you what you think of Army of Two.
Oh, Army of Two, the 40th Day is one of the best games. Well, the best Army of Two games I played. I'm actually.
Well, there's 3 of them, right? Like, and the third game was like a reboot.
It's kind of a reboot, but it was a sequel in a way. But the second game is the best game, I think. The 40th Day is crazy. Like, it's like an attack on a city, and everything's blowing up, buildings are falling down. It's just there's no rest in that game.
And it's all about it's like all about co-op, right?
It's all about co-op in that game. Yep.
That's cool.
I remember playing a demo of it on PS3, or one of them on PS3, but that's the extent of my knowledge of the series. But
yeah, the first one I hear is not that well received on the PS3. I hear the Xbox version is better because back then in early development, I heard it was easier to make games for 360 than over the PS3.
Yeah, people hadn't really figured out the PS3 yet.
Yeah, the system's a beast, but it's hard to program for.
Yeah, I mean, like early on, I think games generally ended up better on Xbox 360. And I think that for the most part continued on, but it was like much closer. And sometimes the PS3 version was better, or sometimes maybe the PS3 version had certain effects better and the 360 had certain effects better. But...
Right. The first time I really noticed a difference in certain games was Bayonetta. The 360 version looks way better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it was very much designed for 360 at first, and then Sega handled the PS3 port themselves and not Platinum games.
And Sony had to come in and make a patch themselves, I heard.
Yeah, for the install the game, I believe. Yeah.
Was it Sony that did the patch, not Platinum?
Yep. Sony had to straight up do it. Or what was it Sony? Maybe it was Platinum that did it then.
I don't know. Like, that reminds me of sort of similar to the Half-Life or the Orange Box story. I think EA did the port, and it was so bad that Valve had to fix
it. Wow.
But I mean, it's. Most people would be shocked, but so far my only experience with the original Bayonetta is the PS3 version. But I played it years after the fact, so it was patched. But
I'd love to just replay it on the Wii U, just because. Yeah, I love the first one. I got all the achievements in it.
Yeah, I do want to replay it on Wii U. I mean, I've got it, of course, but the only time I actually played the first was on PS3. But yeah, I definitely plan to play the Wii U version someday.
Yeah, I still haven't played Bayonetta. It's supposed to be
better than the 360 version.
Yeah, I still want to play Part 2 someday. I just don't have a Wii U yet.
It's real good. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Do you think they'll port it to the Switch though?
Hopefully. I mean, it'd be cool.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I've honestly been surprised. I kind of expected, like a ton of Wii U ports to the Switch in its first year, and there have been a few, but much fewer than I expected. Which, I know a lot of people were kind of down on like all of the definitive editions and stuff that the PS4 and Xbox One were getting early on, and still sometimes get. But I was always a big fan of that. Really, like, it just was kind of nice to have like a higher resolution, higher frame rate version of some of my favorite games from the previous generation. On a disc, on a console. I just really enjoyed that. And I feel like a lot of Wii U games deserve a wider audience on the Switch.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wish more would come out, and you know,
I'm sure it's gonna happen.
that's a
I
good
mean, Bayonetta
example.
would make so much sense to port it.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be relatively little work at this point. Plus, there's like so many studios these days that are like, design, like they're all about making these like high quality conversions of games to other platforms, or even I want to think it's Nix's or something that, for example, did like all of the
Tomb Raider.
The Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider port. So I think they did the 360 port, they did the PS4 port, and they even did the Pro patches, not just for PS4, but also for Xbox One X. So even though Crystal Dynamics did the original version, like it was practically like porting the game to the Xbox One X to unlock the extra potential.
Nice.
And which is interesting because Crystal Dynamics never bothered to fix the input lag issue, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
But all of Nix's versions did. So I mean, but my point is, there's companies like that. They're just like a bunch of those companies that are designed to do that, and I just think it'd be cool to see a lot of those great Wii U games reach a wider audience, because during the same period that the Wii U was Nintendo's system and the PS4 was Sony's systems. Like during
this gun
the
is amazing.
During the time that both of those systems were active, it's like the PS4 is the quote unquote better system in a lot of ways. It's got more games. It's obviously a lot more powerful, but. Like I just had more fun with Wii U because it felt like the system had more of a defined personality to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a lot of really good games that I would like to see more people have an opportunity to play.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
have you guys?
Oh, go ahead.
Have you guys played Friday the 13th yet?
Mm-mm.
No, the new game.
Yeah.
I have not, but a friend was telling me a whole lot about. Like, I don't think he's played it either, but he had watched some streams about it and heard people talk about it on podcasts, and we're big horror movie fans, so it sounded like some really interesting concepts, and I remember hearing like not positive things when it came out, but it sounds like
it had a lot of issues like with the servers and stuff, I guess, when it came out.
Right, and I guess there's been a lot of patches, and it's got a dedicated community built up around, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's online only, right?
It's online only for now. They were supposed to add a single player earlier, but we're getting it, I think, in a couple of weeks finally. I just wish they would have added the single player before they made the physical release.
Right.
The game wasn't like a coffin if online went down. So.
So there is a physical release coming.
The physical release is
already out. Yeah.
Oh, what system?
Like everything,
PS4
I think.
4 and 3. I mean, not 360. Xbox One.
Really? I didn't even know that the game was available for those systems. I thought it was PC only.
Mm-mm. No, it's out.
Really?
But
I mean, even if the single player isn't on the disc, that's interesting. Let me look this up. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna wait on the physical version because the way that they're doing the game, it's really popular. It's made a lot of money. I think they're gonna make some kind of like Game of the Year version with everything on the disc.
Oh, good.
So I'm gonna wait for that one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they will make it.
And they just added what's his face? Like, didn't they just add something with like the Tommy Jarvis, like the Friday the 13th Part 6 Tommy Jarvis is like there were the Jarvis tapes or something like that.
Yeah, the Jarvis tapes were added, which are really good when you get them and listen to them all. It's like pretty much a sequel to that movie, letting you know what happened in the aftermath and everything.
To 6?
Interesting.
Because 6 is like
before,
I think is the best one. I mean, I think a lot of people think that 6 is the best one. It's like either 4 or 6 are like considered the two best, I think.
Well, Tommy Jarvis, is like Jason's like I don't want to say, but like his rival, like he's the hero against Jason. So it's weird in the sequels that they took him out. Like 7 didn't have Tommy Jarvis. They brought some psychic girl in there, and I was like, where's Tommy Jarvis at?
Yeah.
I kind of like the second one the best. like something about like the burlap bag Jason head.
Yeah.
Like something about that. Just I think.
Yeah,
it's, like,
I'm a big fan of
scarier.
the third one. I mean, like where he gets the mask.
Yeah, I feel like I should like the third one more than I do, but
It's like
I'm
definitely
not,
like when it was released in 3D. It's you can tell it was shot in a way to like make 3D.
Yeah, I lose track of like as the series goes on about what happened in which movie. Which was the one where the coroner like eats his heart?
Oh, that's
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yep.
Yes.
Not a great movie. The beginning of that movie is like the best part, really.
I think it's hilarious, though.
He only shows up a couple of times in that movie, which
Yeah.
is weird.
But but the beginning of it, like when it's like the army is like against him, is amazing, and they like like.
I think I thought it was kind of an awesome movie in a way. Like that whole scene with the coroner eating the heart, like you could just like I was just like, don't eat the heart.
Don't eat the heart.
Like,
he's eating the heart.
He was looking at it in this way that was like he's thinking about eating that heart. Like I don't know why he would be thinking of eating that heart, but he is thinking about eating that heart. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's actually doing exactly what I was thinking of. He's doing it. Stop it. Don't do that. That is bad.
You know
that movie.
Oh God.
Oh my God. You know what's weird though? Out of all the Friday the 13th movies, my favorite one is Jason Takes Manhattan.
Really?
And, yeah, I like some of the kills in that movie a lot. Like one of my favorite kills is the sludge cannon one, and of course the head punch. That's classic. Nobody.
Oh, that's with the boxer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like half of that movie is like not even in Manhattan. It's like on the cruise ship.
On the cruise ship, which is like, what the heck? Like they totally lied to everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. I'm not positive if I've got all my facts straight on this, but this was recently. A friend was telling me that there is like a bunch of Jason X like novels or comics or something that like Jason X, like there's like
the outer space Jason.
Yeah. There's like a whole like Jason X canon beyond the movie. And like that is so stupid that I'm kind of excited and want to know more.
I have to ask you guys this: what is your favorite Jason kill?
I mean, it's like I've always liked the pushing the face through the side of the
the
camper.
Part 6 in the trailer. Camper, that was brutal.
Yeah.
My favorite personally has always been the eye pop from part 3. I just love that one, dude. And it was funny because
and it's like definitely it's like taking advantage of the fact that it was like in 3D.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, in the same scene, they were promoting those Nike shoes that the guy was wearing. Because they close up on the shoes.
I actually have like a little bit of a connection to Friday the 13th. Like I mean, it's very roundabout, but I like to talk about it because I thought it was so cool at the time. When I lived in New York, and the first like paying job, like post-production job that I got, I was like working as a logger on this show that came out as like a PBS documentary on an aircraft carrier. You can, if you want to look it up, it's called Carrier. It's very good. It came out really well. But one of the editors on it was assistant editor on Friday the 13th.
Wow.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So it's cool. Like he's like interviewed like on the DVD special edition that came out. Like not the like the compilation that that has like all the movies on it. But I thought it was cool. He was like talking about like Sean Cunningham and like working on it and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a neat connection.
There's didn't you this is a really terrible series of movies, and I can't even remember how many there were, and I don't know why Drum and I actually bothered to get through the entire series. But didn't you didn't you do the credit sequence on the final Sleepaway Camp movie?
Yeah, like it was a fix for it. Like I had to like do like redo like half the credits of that. And it was like the one that was just like, I don't think like really.
It may have been. I mean, I think they were all like straight to video.
I mean, it was definitely straight to video, but it was. It had like people from the original in it, but it was. I don't know. It was only a few years ago. I mean, not a few years ago. It was probably. Gosh, I mean, probably 2011 or something like that is when it came out.
I mean, there was a long gap, I think, and then like there was this other one. But I there were probably like 5 or 6 movies in the series, and like it was really, really bad. But like Drum and I just like have this thing about like watching an entire horror series.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
But yeah, it was bad.
I forgot to turn off my baby monitor, and I can hear my son. He's like waking up for some reason. I don't know why he's waking up.
Did we lose Reggie, or is he just switching? He might be switching to a different computer or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think he switched like camera or something.
Uh-oh, I hope he didn't.
Hopefully he'll pop back in.
Yeah. We'll give it a little bit of time. I mean, hopefully. But yeah, if anybody wants to check out Carrier, you should see it. Like it's awesome. I mean, I worked on it. Gosh, I worked on it for almost a year, and then they spelled my name wrong in the credits.
What exactly did you do on it?
I was a logger, meaning that I was like, I watched all like the footage and like made notes of like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was like at the time it was great money. I mean, it was my first like big kind of break, I guess. Probably like the thing I get most excited about is that the very beginning of the first episode uses a song by The Killers. And that was like my suggestion. I was like, you should use this song in it because it's awesome.
I get most excited about.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes.
Oh, can you mute the stream? Because I think we can hear it coming through.
Sorry.
Yep.
There he is.
Oh, you're gonna. Oh wait, can you? I think we can still like hear ourselves coming through. Oh, there we go. I think it's better now.
Okay.
It just needs like a second to like adapt to it.
That's pretty cool how you've got the Skype window, because it went full screen to me when Reggie was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I think that's something we'll definitely use more of. Because now I'm just like, for the stream, I'm not like capturing like a little screen anymore in the upper corner of my main monitor. I'm just making the Skype or Discord full screen, and I just like capture that whole monitor. So it not only increases the resolution of it, but it gives me a chance to do something better like this.
Coury, is this path 3 again?
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can do it. I thought I'd have more continuous but I think that she's just not as powerful. So she's just faster.
Yeah, I forget what her. I think my favorite character is the other guy.
Oh, Eddie Brown or
yeah, Eddie,
Bruno?
Eddie, or not Bruno. What was our guy's name? Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Brown.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah. I think I typically did the best with him when I was playing as him. Like his kick is really powerful.
Somebody in the chat, Sasquatch. I mean, I guess it's hidden because I guess it's. Let me show that. Says the criminally insane. Watch Criminally Insane, aka Crazy Fat Ethel, 1975. Is that an actual movie? It doesn't sound like it'd be an actual movie. This game is not by Capcom. This is a game by Sega.
It's a very Sega game.
Yeah.
I love how like brightly lit the inside of this cave is.
Yeah, these guys look like they're definitely based on the Punisher. Like they're like this enemy set is like definitely like based on the Punisher. It's just like a female Punisher essentially, with a mask on, with like what looks like a rabbit mask, like a bunny.
I like the fact that they're actually trying to grill some fish.
Yeah. You know, hey, there's another. I wonder how many of these illustrations I've collected, because I feel like I've gotten a lot of them. So they're hidden in each level, like if you pick up certain things and.
Yeah, it's weird because the memory card will go off and it'll beep, or you like we talked about earlier, and you'll know.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Like I said, I thought for the longest time it was like a warning that my memory card battery was low or something.
No, well, I mean that's like part of it. I mean, not part of it for this game, but it's like a common thing that batteries die on the VMUs, and it like
right. But
makes
it
that long
doesn't
beep
matter
when you
for
start
it doesn't matter for save games as far as I understand. It only matters for if you're actually going to use the VMU independent of the system.
So, someone was saying, you should pull the lever here. I don't know if there's actually a lever to pull in this.
Yeah, I don't see it.
That was last time I was in this area. I'm not gonna make it as far this time. Oh, geez.
Yeah, that was kind of
here we go. She's doing it.
Like,
oh yeah,
man, brutal.
I thought it was gonna be the whole thing, but it was something else. It was half of the.
Maybe you'll get to the cutscene where you have to do the button press.
Ooh. That was a pretty good one though. That was pretty good.
I like that there's still like a body on that spinning thing. There's still like a skeleton on it. So Reggie, do you have like any? I mean, like your videos that you put out, they're very much like kind of hey, like this is what I bought this time, or was like my pickups from this place. I mean,
yes.
What do you have anything on deck that you have coming out?
Video wise,
yeah.
I have a video where I show how I got my PC engine. I recently got a PC engine,
PRGE.
Nice.
Oh.
I do episodes of Interracial Gamer with my buddy Joe, and those are like reviews, nonchalant reviews on games.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 of those uploaded ready to go. I just don't know where I'm going to put them out, which is kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah.
And
it must be nice, though, having 2 things uploaded that you can just like, just...
Well, I do all of the videos on my cell phone. I have this cell phone I'm using.
Oh,
it's an
really?
iPhone SE. Yeah. And,
I have an SE, too. I just got one. Because I think that I saw you had an SE, and I was like, oh, do you like having the SE?
Yeah, it's cool. And it has 64 gigs of space on it, so easy for me to edit on here, because it's weird. I learned how to edit reverse-wise. Instead of learning how to edit on a computer, I learned how to edit video on a phone. So I got used to it, and I got somewhat good at it, and I could make decent videos. So I just continue to do it. And what I do is when I capture footage, I capture the footage on my slow-running computer, and then I transfer that to the Dropbox on my phone, and that's where I edit the footage on my phone at.
That's super interesting. I can't even imagine doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I learned how to do it. I got good at it, and yeah. But
I mean, it must be nice. You can kind of do it anywhere.
Yeah, it's fun. I like doing it. But as far as videos, though, I usually just do like nonchalant, maybe a couple of reviews on games that people have never heard of, games that are on the cheap that you could buy now. But it's scary telling people about games, because as soon as I talk about them, they'll go out and buy them immediately.
And then they won't be cheap anymore.
And then somebody will say like, man, Reggie, you make this game higher in price or it's sold out because I was like, wow, you would have never knew about it though.
I know we get a lot of people saying that sometimes too. It's like,
sometimes I err on the side of caution when we get ready to release certain videos, like especially if we've done a couple of sort of hidden gem style videos, and like whenever you do a game that I'm really interested in, like Gunner's Heaven, or I think there might have been 1 or 2 in some of the recent, in the most recent download on disc video that was like, I mean, it probably won't make the price go up, but it couldn't hurt to buy this before the video gets released.
Yeah,
that's true. And the thing is, sometimes is that even though the prices do go up, sometimes they don't stay up.
Right.
They'll eventually come
It's
back
just like
down.
a temporary.
Yeah.
You see, I kind of made a mistake when Shenmue 3 got announced because I had recently gotten Shenmue 1 for a pretty reasonable price, and then Shenmue 3 got announced, and they both just like really shot up. And like I can't remember what I paid for 2, but it was more than it should have, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to go up. It's never going to go down. I may as well get it now. And like I end up getting one that doesn't have a manual. There's a bit of sun fading on it, but I was just like, the price is right. I got to take it before it gets worse. And it's, you can still get it for a pretty reasonable price now, but it just like it shot up for a time because there was high interest.
Yeah.
And now, it seems like it's died off because I don't know what's going on with Shenmue 3, but did you guys see the new trailer for it?
Yeah, I saw some of the videos, and like the first one they released was obviously very early animation, but people were freaking out about it.
Right.
Yeah, because there's no facial animation, which I mean, that's why I never watch anything pre-release anymore. I feel like.
Well, the latest trailer that came out with, the game looked like a Dreamcast game, which I'm totally fine with, but a lot of people who expect to upgrade and how the game looks were kind of upset. And, I was never really a big Shenmue guy. I beat part 2. I didn't beat part 1. But the creator was talking about there's possibility they could make a Shenmue 4. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ended with Shenmue 3.
Right, exactly. I feel like that is such a missed opportunity to.
Yeah, because that was the whole idea was to now we can finally tell the rest of the story like we have always wanted.
Right. Like the reason that people wanted Shenmue 3 is they wanted closure, which I have not.
Yes.
I mean, I have the 2 games. I haven't played through them yet, so I don't know anything about the story. But what I do know is that it has been incomplete for all these years, and that's the only reason people want a sequel. Is it's this opportunity to complete. The same thing happened. Reggie, you strike me as someone who might be a fan of the Phantasm movies. Are you familiar with Phantasm?
Much.
I don't know if you've seen the Phantasm 5 that they released.
You love to talk about Phantasm, whatever.
It's such a weird series, but it's so unique. But Phantasm 5, there was this, big gap, and they had such an opportunity with that to conclude the story, and it didn't really feel like it either continued it or concluded it in a satisfying way. And it just felt like such a missed opportunity because it's the guy who plays the tall man died before the movie came out. You are not going to make another one of these movies.
Exactly.
This was your last chance to make a definitive conclusion to this series.
Yes.
And I felt like they kind of blew it.
Now, I haven't seen it, but they said they fell short of concluding the story, and I was like, man, are you serious? He just passed away right after the movie was released.
And it's over. You can't go back, because you can't make another one of these movies without him. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I have to ask you something. The first Phantasm, I never got it in my head, but the ending to that, was Jodie just dreaming, or did that really happen and the tall man just went back and reversed everything?
I
never got that ending, man. It always bothered me because Jodie, it seemed like a happy ending.
Jodie being who's the younger brother?
Well, Jodie's the older brother. And
Jodie's the older brother. I'm drawing a blank on the younger brother's name. Mike. I mean, I think it was real, but
I think the tall man reversed something. He went back in time or something like that. It's really weird.
Yeah,
Because...
like my favorite thing about the first movie, like when me and my friend watched it, like we were like he had started watching it and he was like, oh wait, no, like you need to see this. This is hilarious. Like we were watching it like with like a troll 2 mindset. Like we were watching it because we thought it was like really bad and funny. And then we like went on YouTube and watched some more stuff, and people were like talking about it with like reverence, and we're thinking, really? Like we just thought it was like this really bad, funny movie, and then we like watched 2 and 3, and thought they were okay, and then we watched 4, and how they like tied in cut footage from the first movie.
Yes.
And we're just like, what? And it like changed our perspective of the whole series, and all of a sudden everything about the series was amazing. But anyway, like that was another example where it's like they had this opportunity to conclude it. This was your last chance. Don't blow it. And then it's like not even this definitive conclusion after you've waited all these years. And I feel like that would be such a huge mistake. Even though I haven't played the Shenmue games yet, I feel like that would be such a huge mistake. This is your one chance. Just let it end. You know? Don't leave open possibilities for more games. Like people want this conclusion. People need this conclusion. People back your Kickstarter because they want closure, not because they want more games. They want closure.
Yes, thank you.
And if Yu Suzuki wants to do anything else, he can just like do another
Outrun.
Yeah, do another Outrun. I mean, Outrun 3 would be amazing if he wants to do that. I mean.
Yeah, do you guys think, well, I'm totally against this practice anyway, but do you think it would have been better for them to do episodic content if they wanted to? No, never mind, because they need to close the series. I shouldn't even have said that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I mean, if they wanted to do episode 3 in, like, multiple parts, I think that would be fine. I mean, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake, for example, they're talking about how, or at least at one point, who knows if the plan has changed because it's been so long since we heard anything. But at one point they were talking about episodic, and people were freaking out, thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be a download thing. It's going to be bad." And I'm thinking, well, stop and think about it. When they say episodic, they're probably I think they're talking about like making something like 3 full, value games that tell the story of Final Fantasy VII. Because you think about Final Fantasy VII, as advanced as it was for the time. That was at a time when RPGs were still very abstract, and to think of making a game of Final Fantasy VII scale with the expectations of what a modern game it looks like and plays like and things like that. Final Fantasy VII is so much huger than any game. In terms of scope of the plot and everything, is just way larger than anything that could realistically be contained within a single game of today's standards. So, I feel like it's okay if they like retell the story, but have to tell it over multiple full quality games. Like that's fine, I think.
I think. They're going to add a lot more story to it because, you got to admit, Final Fantasy VII had a lot of plot holes in it.
Sure.
And, I mean, oh my God, I'm still not even over the ending of Final Fantasy VII. That really bugs me still today. 500 years later, couldn't it have been 5 days, maybe 5 years later? I mean, because Red 13, he's not the main character. So nobody was really wanting to know what he was doing 500 years later. It's just, I don't know. And Advent Children, I think that's what it's called. It's the sequel movie.
Yeah.
I thought that should have been a game, but I don't know, man. I really don't know.
See, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I really liked Advent Children.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it was just like I didn't really have any expectations for it, but I just think it's a lot of fun.
I mean, I think I had like really high expectations, which may have not been the way to be, but like I felt like the story like there were certain things I liked about the story. Like I liked the ending. It had it like the end of the movie was good. Like the Sephiroth fight was really cool,
Right.
and I felt good about the ending. But like the early and middle of the movie, like didn't do a ton for me. But I felt good about how it ended up anyway. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I mean that was it came out. I guess I was in college at the time. And it came out. I remember, getting it off of the network. Someone on the network at college. The college had it. And, it was awesome. Like it was, it just super over the top.
Yeah, I remember a friend was really encouraging me to do that, but I was like really adamant on waiting for the DVD release because I wanted to experience in English for the first time because it was kind of similar to Spirits Within. Like I was like really hyped about this because it's like it's like I was kind of expecting it to be what Spirits Within failed to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always think it's such an interesting thing to think about. Like, what if that was like their theatrical movie instead of Spirits Within?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, would it have done that much better? I don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy VII was popular, but I think that it's the same kind of deal where I thought like, like the Pokemon movie was gonna be the first U.S. Pokemon movie. I thought was gonna be like this gigantic, like make billions, like be the #1 grossing movie of all time.
Right.
Yeah. But especially with Final Fantasy VII, like, having children, like, I don't think the movie does anything to stand on its own without the context of Final Fantasy VII itself. Yeah. So
I see some mention of Dirge of Cerberus, which I've never played. I have it. I just got it recently, but
I heard
that was. I so rarely hear anyone say anything about it, and I, to be honest, remember very little about it. But it came out like right when I was starting my job, and in fact, I want to say it might have been like the first game like I played through like in my apartment when I started my job, but. Like I didn't remember a lot about it. I remember it being fine, but I remember also not really liking the new villain characters. Like they didn't feel, they felt out of place. But like years ago, I was, I regret now, of course, but I was kind of going through like sort of a collection purge phase, and I like, it seems crazy to think that I could let go of a Final Fantasy thing, but, well, I've let go of some minor Final Fantasy things in the past, I guess, but, I was like, was this game really that good? I can't remember. And, I put it on the maybe pile, and, I sort of like, and then I played it, I'm like, man, this actually seems a lot smoother than I remember. And so, like, ever since then, I've, like, wanted to, like, actually do a proper replay of it because, honestly, it feels like it might not play that bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of, like, collection purges, like, Reggie, you're kind of known for having a gigantic game collection. Do you ever, like, do any big, major sell-offs of games?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What are some big regrets or...
Oh, man. Luckily, it wasn't anything PlayStation-wise. But my biggest regret at the time was selling off my Game Boy Advance collection. So that Game Boy Advance, I had all my Game Boy games in box, complete. And I had games like
Ninja 5-0.
No, I never got Ninja 5-0. I skipped out on that one. But, just a lot of games that were hard to find. Like I had freaking Snow Brothers in box for the Game Boy. Now that's going for crazy money. I had stuff like that I sold off for cheap because back in the day, I remember I got laid off from my job, and I wanted to make some quick money, so I wasn't late on rent. So I just got the collection together and sold it off. And I sold it off for so cheap, and now it just wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? So you can't find a lot of that stuff anymore for a reasonable price.
Right.
And that's the hard part. But never again, no. I know better now. But I think that was the hardest stuff I had to sell, like Game Boy Advance stuff in box. some DS stuff that was really cool at the time, but nothing really PlayStation related.
I feel like
I wanted to ask you guys too.
Oh, go ahead.
What is your favorite Final Fantasy game? Curious.
I mean, for me, it's definitely 6 or 3. As I always refer to 6 as 3 because that's what it was to me.
Yeah, right.
But that's definitely my favorite. I was there's always been a point where I thought that maybe 4 or 2 was my favorite. But I think over time, you know, like 6 has definitely taken the top spot.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 has for a pretty long time been my go-to answer for the favorite Final Fantasy question, which I still think that's true, but like sort of what I've been telling people in recent years, and there might be at least one controversial pick in by saying this, but and that being 8 because I really love 8. I don't care what anyone says.
8 is my favorite one.
Well, 8 it's. You know,
I'm gonna get a lot of flack in the crowd for this.
Some days I want to say that 8 is my favorite just because it makes me so mad that people don't give it the respect it's due.
Right.
But I love 8. I would say 8 is my favorite soundtrack.
Oh, definitely. That's a great soundtrack.
You know, like the battle theme in that is probably the best battle theme in the series. Like there are definitely some, like the main thing with 8 is I do think that having the enemies level with you was a misstep, but I don't think it ruins the gameplay. And there's just so many other things I love about that game. But I feel like if you take Final Fantasy IV through Final Fantasy IX, there is no game in the Final Fantasy series that is any better than those 3. Those 6. Those 6 are the top 6, and everything else is below it. My favorite outside that range is 12. 10 I like. I mean, but it's actually pretty low for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I like pretty much all of the Final Fantasy games. I don't have super positive feelings about 15 or 2, like the original 2. I want to replay 2, though. Like, I feel like I would appreciate it more now than I did at the time. But at the end of the day, I like all of them pretty much. But definitely the Super Nintendo and PlayStation ones are all like the top tier for me.
Nice. So mine, as I said, is my favorite is Final Fantasy VIII. You know, when that came out,
a choice I respect greatly.
Thank you. When that came out, I was 18. I was in high school, and the characters were like teenagers, so I thought that was awesome. And you know, I just fell in love with that game, and then I got good at learning the junction system because, as you know, the enemies level up with you, so you got the only way to the best of them is the
right. And I think a lot of people didn't grasp like junction very well.
I didn't, and I was in my third year of college at that point.
So many people got to Adele and just like got stuck there, and there's like it's like difficult to like go back and like try to do anything if you're stuck at that point because they weren't using junctioning properly. But yeah, I always thought it was a really cool system.
Yeah, it's a great system, and not only that. So with Final Fantasy VIII, you know, I love the game, outstanding. I mean, I put so many hours into that game. Now, I don't think it's the best Final Fantasy, but it's one of my personal favorites. 7 didn't make the list because, you know, I told you guys about the plot holes it had, and the ending is just impossible to be my favorite game out of the series. But I think that Part 9 is actually one of the best games in the series because it's like a love letter to the people who love who love 6, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And I like that one a lot too.
You know, 10, I have. Oh, go on.
10 was too. 10 they added voice acting into it, so they started spoiling people with voice acting because I like the imagination of being able to read the dialogue.
Yeah. But, you know, I feel like. You know, obviously voice acting is such a standard thing now, but I feel like in some ways the voice acting limited what they could do with the story in 10 because they had to consider, like we can't change this at any point because we have to have like a recorded voice file, you know?
Right.
And I always felt like And in the same sense, I think FMVs actually kind of limited what they could do with the story. Because you think about it, like, you know, they did secret characters in 6 and 7, but those secret characters in 7, of course, couldn't appear in the FMVs. And then, as, you know, the FMVs became so much more central to the series presentation. Well, they couldn't do those fun secret side things anymore. Like 7 was the last one that was like really gamey, so to speak, in that sense, where you had like these weird sorts of things that you could do, like get these unlockable characters and things like that. But yeah, I agree. Like 9 is, you know, I didn't. Final Fantasy IV, when I first played it, I liked it, but it was not. I didn't have a huge appreciation for it, and then as I replayed it several times over the years, like it's just like a really tightly well-told story. Like it's not like, you know, the most unique or amazing story ever told, but it's just really well told and moves along very quickly. And another thing, and I would kind of be curious to hear your perspective on this, because me and Coury have talked about this a lot. You know, I used to be way and I still am to a large extent. Like I used to like kind of prefer like systems that would let you do whatever you wanted with your characters. Like I love the job system in Final Fantasy V. I love the junction system in Final Fantasy VIII. And like every character is, yeah, they might have like some minor stat advantages in one way or another, but for the most part, every character is a blank slate. You can do what you want with them. And I do still love that, but at the time I always thought that is always better than like characters that you can't do much with. But like I've kind of really come to enjoy the idea that like the game throws you with these characters, and this is your white mage, and this is your warrior, and this is your black mage, and whatever. And you've got these. Okay, you got to figure out like how to work with them. Like you got to make the best what we throw your way. And like Final Fantasy IV does that very, very well, and they like change the characters over the course of the.
I love it when they have
over the course of the game. So you know, this character leaves the party, and oh no, what am I going to do? I was really counting on them, and you know, then this new character comes along, and you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this character? And I've really come to respect that, and maybe in some ways almost prefer like these more clearly defined roles for the characters.
Yeah. That's why you're gonna like the Lunar games too, because everyone.
Well, as far as like making the character the way you want them, I think that's good for advanced players like us. But for somebody that's a beginner in RPGs, they want to know what a certain character does on their own instead of like having the customly build them.
I mean, Final Fantasy VI kind of combines that.
Yes,
like everyone,
which is one of the reasons it's the best.
Right.
Or quite probably best. You know, I think it was honestly Final Fantasy XI, I think, that kind of started to change my perspective on that, because that is a game where the defined roles are very important. And, you know, if you don't have a party made up of characters that can play these specific roles, then you're going to have a very rough time. And that kind of, I was glad that I had played Final Fantasy XI and kind of learned that lesson of like the party roles, because I had, you know, I was so used to making jack of all trades characters in Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy VII and VIII, and you know, I obviously with like Final Fantasy IX, you know, there's almost no reason if Dagger is the next character in line, there's almost no reason to even hit the attack button with her, because she's going to do so little damage because she's a white mage. But in Final Fantasy VII, it's like, oh, well, I'll just make it so that every character can heal and every character can attack, and like no one's like going to do an attack that's so small that it's not even worth attacking. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I always tend toward making, when the game gave me the opportunity to make jacks of all trades, I made jacks of all trades. And then when Final Fantasy 12 came out, I sort of was having a tough time with a lot of the bosses and, you know, like the first quarter of the game. And I was like, well, let me take a lesson from Final Fantasy 11 and see what happens. So I made it so that one character, you know, their gambit instructions are to heal at all costs. Like, attack if there's absolutely nothing else to do, but you heal even if someone is just a little hurt. Then I've got a character that, like, you only heal as a last resort. Because the problem I was running into is I wasn't dealing enough damage to bosses. And you know, because everyone was stopping to heal all the time. So I needed a dedicated attacker. And then I kind of was making a character kind of in the middle. And I've played Final Fantasy 12 several times, I guess twice since then. And, you know, and I've always taken that sort of balanced approach. And it really made me stop and think, wow, like, party roles really are, like, important. And you know, if you're faced with a more difficult situation, you know, this jack of all trades approach does not work. Even though you're thinking, oh, I'm making a really powerful party. Everyone can heal. Everyone can attack. You know, but specialization, I think, you know, in the end, kind of results in a better party. So, you know, that was when I was kind of like, oh, you know what? Like, the way that Final Fantasy IV does it is actually really cool. So,
yeah.
That's my rant about party.
You're very passionate about it.
You are, and you know, I have to ask you: do you think Final Fantasy 11 should have just been called Final Fantasy Online?
Yes.
I mean,
that's not even a question for me. Same with 14. I mean, it should have been Final Fantasy 14. Should have been Final Fantasy Online 2.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. There's no changing it. To be honest, I'm not so sure if I ever would have tried Final Fantasy 11 if it wasn't called Final Fantasy 11.
Okay.
I didn't really intend to try it even then, but you know, a friend kind of talked me into it. But you know, and of course, I was just like everyone else. I'm like, ew, I don't want an online game to be Final Fantasy 11, but. You know, Final Fantasy XI is a hugely flawed game, but I've got a deep love of it that was, you know, born from blood, sweat, and tears, and I think any Final Fantasy XI fan would tell you the same thing. It's not a friendly game, but it's this effort that you have to put so much into it, and yes, it eats away at everything in your life, but it's like it's still an experience that I would not trade for anything. It's like it's absolutely some of my fondest gaming memories, and you know, it's special to me, and so in that regard, I definitely am okay with it being Final Fantasy XI. I probably would not have done as much in it as I did because. You know, I played it for like a year when the PS2 version came out and quit, but I never like beat the final boss of the base storyline that was available. Mm-hmm. And that was like really bothering me because I had beaten every single other Final Fantasy game. I was like, I can't leave it at that, you know? and so, I mean, when I say every other Final Fantasy game, I just mean the numbered ones, right? Because that's like what's significant to me. And so if it weren't for the fact that it was a numbered Final Fantasy, I probably wouldn't have put what I did into it. And I feel like I got a lot out of it, you know, you know, so I am okay with it being a numbered Final Fantasy. Like I get that people don't like the fact that it is, but it's a significant game. I don't know if it would have really gotten the internal support from Square Enix either if it wasn't like one of their tentpole games, you know. So they probably needed that support to become what it became.
That makes sense.
I mean, and the same thing with Final Fantasy 14 when it launched a failure. Do you think they would have like gone through all the effort that they did to completely remake and relaunch the game into, you know, what has actually become very successful? Do you think they would have bothered to do that if the sanctity of the numerical Final Fantasy games wasn't at stake? Like, probably not. They probably would have just cut their losses and
moved on to something else.
Moved on to something else. Yeah, exactly.
Is Final Fantasy 11? I think it's still online for PS2, isn't it?
No, the PS2, I mean, you know, all PS2, Xbox 360, and PC all play on the same servers. All those players play together, but they did discontinue the updating the PS2 and Xbox 360 versions. So you can only play it on PC now.
Did they allow people to transfer their data to the PC version? Or
yeah, I mean, you always could do that because
okay.
When I came back to the game, I initially played it. Let me think. 05, and then I played it again for a while, starting in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And I started off playing on the PS2 version, but like some of the expansions were like kind of actually difficult to get the PS2 versions. So I was like, well, you know, I wasn't like really playing much on PC at the time. So, but I was like, I'll like get a decent graphics card and switch to the PC version because I could get like the complete PC version for very cheap. But
right.
yeah, your character is just tied to your account, so you can play either version however you want. So yeah, there was no issue there. The only thing would have been like, you know, like your configuration and like any setup you had for like any shortcuts that you had for like doing special abilities and stuff. Obviously, you would have to. Actually, you may have been able to save that to you could save that to the server. So I think it actually would have been fine. You could have seamlessly switched over. And they did the same thing with 14 because they've actually already discontinued the PS3 version of 14.
Wow, really?
Just because it was holding back like the scope of things that they could do with the expansion content, because they always had to consider like, is this something the PS3 can do? So right now that's on PS4 and PC, but they did like for when they canceled the PS3 version, they did. I think they offered some like upgrade incentive to the PS4 version for PS3 players.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I'm just seeing how many illustrations I'm missing.
I was looking too.
Yeah, You get quite a few. It's like so funny to me though, like all the effort like that went into like the artwork.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It tells you a little bit about the character. It said Eddie
Brown like so weird. Seal. Like they show the president's daughter. They have like artwork of her like growing up. Like what's even the point of that? But it's like they've got all this like crazy backstory to the game that's like completely unnecessary.
So, going back to Final Fantasy just real quick, did you guys both beat Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I remember the first time playing that game. Now, the whole area thing. Now, people who are watching this, it's over 20 years ago, so no spoilers.
Yeah, this is so weird, so long ago.
But when Area was attacked, did you guys think she was going to pass away? I thought she was just going to be hurt real bad.
I mean, I played the game probably when I played through it. It was probably like 2 years after it had been out. So yeah. I already knew.
You already knew.
Do you want to know? Like I actually had it spoiled for me.
Oh, you
on
did?
A message board on America Online.
Oh man, America 4.0, man. Those chats.
Yep.
I was playing the game. I thought she was gonna be hurt real bad, and because I didn't have her fourth limit break yet, and so I thought, she'll be coming back later. But when they put her in the water, man, that was it, dude. I was shocked.
Yeah, when
I can imagine. This guy's like almost naked.
Look
at this guy. He's like practically naked here. I mean, wait till you guys see it on stream. He's like, it's like you can almost see something like kind of peeking. just wait.
Jesus.
Right?
And that's one of the pirates.
But when I played Final Fantasy VII, I didn't have a PlayStation yet. But there was a friend in high school, and like I had watched another friend like play a good bit of Final Fantasy VII, but I didn't obviously know everything that happened in it, and I knew about Eris. I mean, I don't remember when or how I found out, but I knew. But like this friend in high school, he was like playing through the game and like.
Really quick, there's a background music called the Poop Deck Pursuit.
But anyway, so we like during school, like every day, like we were like talking about Final Fantasy VII, and like because I knew a fair bit from what I'd seen a friend play, and like he was just like so excited about it. And like the day after he beat it, like he completely unexpectedly brought his PlayStation and the game and memory card to school and let me borrow the system and keep it until I beat Final Fantasy VII. And so anyway, like I beat it, and then another friend of ours, like again, this was probably like 2 years after it was out, and we were like, even then we were shocked that he didn't know about Eris and what would happen to her. Mm. And we were like so excited that he didn't know. And
we could see his reaction.
Like we just couldn't wait to see what his reaction was going to be, because we're like, this is a rare opportunity. Like someone doesn't know what happens. Like I really want to know what the reaction's going to be. And then we were like we're like, oh, like, okay, where are you? And we're like, oh, he's going to get there like tonight. And so we were like all excited. And then like the next day we like asked like, so what happened? And he's like, well, I'm not sure what you guys are like so excited about. And we're like, well, did you get to the part where he's like, oh, like Eris died? We're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't use her. I was like, we were like, what? Come on, man, that's not
the point. That is hilarious. With me, I used Arius the whole time. Like she was in my party constantly.
Yep,
so it really hit me.
But I knew it was
I didn't really use her either, but like still, like it's just like it's like a defining moment in the game.
Yeah. Her final limit break actually looks like a summons almost, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got that in any of my replays of Final Fantasy VII. Because it's like you have to like do so much work to like I don't know how many hours it would take, but it's a pretty significant amount of work to actually earn that before that early in the game, I think.
Yeah, and she dies somewhat early on in the game, I would think. So it's like, it's really awkward to get.
I thought that maybe there would be like more unlockables, but I'm surprised that there's not more.
There's a lot of art. There's a lot of artwork. Yeah. At least. If you beat cool. If you beat mission 3, then there's like a lot of gameplay. There's a lot of gameplay unlockables. Like I say, there's like challenge versions.
Oh, okay.
Of the same missions. They're actually pretty interesting. Like they have different rules.
Right.
Like they have like special rules, and they're a lot harder.
Mm. So you're going to see the power driver right now.
Oh, yeah.
Bruno's moves.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
There's a question here in the chat that, I mean, Retro Morgan was saying that he hates that we're moving more towards the OSSC. He loves his XRGB Mini. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I love the FrameMeister, but the reason I want to use the OSSC is it looks really nice on my TV, and it's it in theory has much more accurate color. I think though for like 480i stuff, I'm probably going to keep using the FrameMeister primarily.
Yeah.
But it's. It's something that we need to, I think, for the purpose of the show, we need to be using the OSSC more because we have not really had really the right sorts of setup to make good use of it up until fairly recently, and we're still working on kind of integrating it much more securely.
Right.
Which speaking of which, I think we should say before we wrap up the stream here, we were kind of just talking before the stream, and yeah, I don't know if this is like, this isn't probably like the PS2 episode where everyone was chomping at the bit for, and I don't know if anyone was like hotly anticipating this 4K TV episode that I've been promising. But I kind of had a revelation today that I am living in a fantasy world if I think I'm going to get that done before Christmas, and it's I am being.
It's just that things like
optimistic.
You've run into some issues just like with like the way things are functioning, certain parts that you've integrated.
I'm running into issues where with my 4K HDMI switching and splitting setup, which is working for the most part fine for the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, but the OSSC it plays nice with my TV, it plays nice with my capture card, but I'm having issues with the switchers, and especially the switchers when they're combined with the splitters. And I'm realizing that I may have been taking kind of the wrong approach to that, and I've got some ideas for how I'm going to solve that, but I'm not quite there yet. And I thought I was, but as I've been trying to really get this functioning the way I want to, like I've realized I'm not as ready to make that episode as I thought.
Right.
And so I'm going to put that off for a month or two until I've got everything functioning the way I want to. And I'm going to do a more simple episode. And I was too stressed. I've got like probably at least half of the script written. Now I'm actually really happy with where the script is, but I need my it's just an HDMI routing problem that I've got right now, and I think I'm on the cusp of solving it, but I'm just not quite there yet. And there's just there's I've got work projects. I've got I'm getting a dog in less than 2 weeks. And like that, all of these things are just like, I'm just like, I am not, I am
You're living in a fantasy world.
I'm living in Kirby's dreamland. If I think I'm getting that done before Christmas, it's not happening. So I'm going
You're
to
do a smaller episode.
I'm going to do probably a tips and tweaks episode that won't be a big deal. And revisit that episode, January or February. I really wanted it to be out before Christmas because I thought, well, hey, people might be spending Christmas money on a 4K TV or something. Mm-hmm. They might be looking for information about, the trials and tribulations of getting that properly set up and cables and switchers and other considerations. But yeah. It's not happening right now. I see Ace in the chat says, I can say one thing on LG 4K TVs. Don't even consider them if image retention makes you lose your mind like it does with me. Mine has started doing this, and I'm seriously flipping out. Don't worry about it, I would say. Certain scenarios, like the Xbox One dashboard and the Switch dashboard, seems to make it happen a little more commonly than others. It's really just like certain scenes, certain colors, certain scenarios that kind of makes it happen. That's really the only time I've really seen it is with those. I mean, I've been editing that whole PS2 episode. I edited all of that on this TV, and that never caused image retention for a second. Something to keep in mind, image retention is a temporary retention of an image.
Really?
Yes, but burn-in, it's called burn-in. I'm just saying there's a distinction.
Right.
Burn-in is when it's not going away.
Right.
Ace is saying he's using his PC and have had the Windows logo from the taskbar stuck on the thing for hours on end. That never happened to me, but I keep the taskbar on another monitor, but I've never had even like the top bar with the X and the minimize on it. I've never even had that stuck. I've never had any elements from Adobe Premiere stuck on it. The only time I've really seen it is with the Switch and the Xbox One dash. That's really all I've seen. I think I saw on the PS4 dash when I had on for a little long, but it goes away. There are sort of some fail safes against it. There's a pixel shifter function that kind of moves the image like a pixel, and like when you're sitting back from your TV, you can't even see it. I've had this stream maximized on the TV the whole time, and I've been watching the stream every week on it, and none of the elements from the stream have even left a temporary thing. It's very temporary. It's not been a concern. From what I've heard, like if you like, Ace is saying he's using an IPS, not an OLED. Okay, well, okay. I don't know if IPSs are worse than OLEDs. Yeah. With the OLED, it's been minimal, and not I'm not at all concerned about getting anything permanent, but it's a concern people raise. But yeah, but anyway, I just said that since we're on the 4K topic. I've been going on some long-winded talks tonight. I guess Dynamite Cop just got me excited, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, coming up, we have just almost finished with a script on like an RGB 300 series. It's like on one chip enhancements, I guess, is the best way to put it. Troy, how would you put it? Like for one chip consoles?
It is
a deeper look at the mods for it, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a deeper look at the RGB mods for Super Nintendo. Don't get excited thinking that it has anything to do with improving quality on non-one chip consoles.
Yeah.
But it's just like, since the release of RGB 204, there have been optimizations for improving video quality, not just in the mini consoles, but in any one-chip console, which makes the video quality more accurate and cleaner than even the one-chip console can normally do. So it's just about that. It's really going to really only be for people who are super interested in really optimizing Super Nintendo stuff.
But that's exactly, as we said to each other, we said, this is exactly the kind of thing that the 300 level is made for.
Yeah. It's not going to be a crazy long episode, so I think it'll be worth your while to watch, but it's not, don't expect any revelations about non-one chip consoles or about, some 4K mod or anything like that. This is just like, this is about from what people are telling us, like RGB from one chip Super Nintendo consoles and mini Super Nintendo consoles is not going to get any better than where it's at now. Like, this is like the optimum form.
Yeah. Non-one chips are usually referred to as two chip.
Yeah, I don't know if that's entirely an accurate way to put it. Like, was it two chips consolidated into one, or was it more functions than that? I don't know. I'm not really sure. No one calls it a two chip, but the reason
I've heard people call it two chips. For sure.
I've heard it, but I don't know enough about the actual architecture to be really positive if that's an accurate thing to call it.
Right. But then smaller episode after that, and then we're gonna try and do something different, and we're gonna do a video on like our favorite games that we played all year. And it's just nice. It's not just like new things, like there's a lot of it's games that we played for the first time this year, essentially.
Right.
And it's in no particular order. It's just kind of like, hey, these are some games that we played this year that we thought were really cool that we played for the first time.
And we might include sort of a review of the channel from 2017 and where we're going in 18 and stuff like that. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Do you guys schedule your videos if you can?
We try to. We used to be super good at it. This year it's like really gone down the tubes.
Yeah, this year was a very weird year for us in terms of just keeping on task, keeping on track. I think we got really distracted by these big epic videos that we wanted to make, and kind of just lost sight of consistency. You know, not that we don't want to do.
There will be big
videos
episodes
now
next
then.
year, obviously, but we're going to be doing like some smaller, easier to do episodes in between.
Something that is just more sustainable, more consistent, something that can be sustained as a part of our everyday life, you know, more so than just like.
I think we let ourselves get into this place where, you know, we do these big long episodes and then we think like, oh, nobody's going to want to see anything that's like is under 25 minutes. Nobody's going to want to see that. And then, you know, we release something that's under 25 minutes and it's like 13 minutes and it's like, oh, people are no different, you know, like they enjoy it and they have a great time. So I think that
and I think something that you said to me that really made a lot of sense was, you know, we can't continue to get into this situation where every video
by the way, this is the part where we apologize. You know, that happens every stream.
we can't get into this point where every video we do, we're just like, oh gosh, thank goodness that's done. And I need a break. And then we like end up taking a break. And then we're like, have such a hard time like getting in gear again for the next one. Like we need to make it to where it's just like, we're just like working on stuff and it's just like a normal sort of job almost. And we're just like, you know, we work on it a little bit every day and then we get it done and we get it out and then we start working on the next one. We don't let any one video overwhelm us so much that we need this big break. I mean, maybe after a really huge video, maybe we can take, you know.
But I think that like the kind of approach that I'm going to take is, you know, like the big ones, I'm going to try and do them like over time. And then, like, once they're ready to go, and then I'll do it. I won't say, like, I'm going to put everything I have into this big one. It's going to take forever to get all the stuff together for it.
Kind of what I want to do. I want to, like, you know, set aside this range of time every day that I work on something for my life in gaming. And maybe that's writing a script. Maybe it's testing something out. Maybe it's just cleaning up my setup or optimizing my setup in some way. Or maybe it's just playing a game that, like, maybe I'm not playing to do it for the next episode, but I'm just like, I feel like playing this game. I know I'm going to use it in a future episode. I'm going to record it now. And, you know, but and things like that are going to just keep us ahead. And then if we're like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And it's like, oh, well, I recorded this game 2 months ago. Maybe I can start working on that. You know, I mean, stuff like that, I think is just going to put us mentally in terms of our motivation in a much better place. Like like I say, we just let ourselves get too overwhelmed by what we saw as these epic tentpole videos this year, and it was intimidating. And we just need to not be afraid of that, and just come up with a workflow and daily schedule and routine that keeps us from being overwhelmed by that stuff. I think so. All that to say, don't look for that 4K episode this year. I've realized I can't do it. It's just not happening. I need to do a little bit more optimizing with the flow of my setup before that can happen and before I can really do it right. I'm going to do something that I think some people will think is kind of neat. I think I'd probably know what I'm going to do, but it's probably going to be a tips and tweaks video. So look for that RGB SNES video from Coury. In a week or so, probably maybe. I don't know if a week or so.
Probably mid next week, I think, because I realize it's been a while since the PS2 episode, but I've had like family things. We've had holiday, and I have to go. Next weekend is my father-in-law's 70th birthday, so we're going, to visit, and it's just like stuff like that. It makes it hard to get things done on a short timetable, I guess. But I mean, we're going to be shooting the episode on, like, you're probably going to shoot your parts tomorrow and I'll shoot mine on Tuesday morning. So I have like a lot of time Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to work on it. And then, hopefully I can get pretty far into it during that time.
Yeah. And then hopefully just before Christmas.
Oh yeah. And as Phantom Knot says, we're also going to be hanging out with Digital Foundry's John Linneman, who is from Cincinnati, and he's coming home to spend the holidays with his family. So he is going to be he'll be joining us definitely for at least like probably 2 live streams.
Yeah, I'm going to be. I don't think we clearly said. I'm planning to come visit during the Christmas break at some point after Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm going to be heading up your way, and so I'll hang out with you and John, and we're hoping we can maybe pull together some productive things to do for the show as well. We've got some ideas that I think will be neat.
Yeah.
If we can pull them together, but mostly I think we just want to have some fun because we don't spend enough time doing that when we actually get together. I think.
Yeah, we're always like working on something.
But anyway,
but Reggie, and you have a couple of you said you have a couple of videos upcoming that are like already uploaded.
Anything you want to tease?
Oh man, put me on the spot. Nah, maybe I'll put my drill dozer review up on Tuesday.
I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, thank goodness, man, because I love that game, and not a lot of people know about it.
It's such a good game. The music when you get the third gear in that game is like the most, like it hypes me up like more than like hardly any other video game music can. It's just like it's like one of those tunes that like you feel like you can do anything. It's just like it's so good.
It
so
pumps
good.
you up.
And that's funny. You guys do exactly what you're talking about.
I think that's the only game that was made by the creators of Pokemon. That
Yeah.
was the only other game, one of the only other games they were able to make.
After they did Pokemon.
They made several things before Pokemon.
They did like that Harmonite.
They rarely get a chance to escape from Pokemon, and when they do, they make really interesting games.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know that there's over 150 unique Pokemon. just wait and tell you. There's how many Pokemon there are.
How many Pokemons?
All right.
Cool, guys.
Well, anyway, this was fun stream, fun game, fun chatting with Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie, you're welcome back
guys,
anytime, man.
awesome.
If you want to.
Yeah, anytime.
If you ever just say like, "Oh, you guys streaming tonight?" Yeah, I mean, just let us know.
Yeah, definitely, man. This is awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks to everybody who watched tonight. We had a pretty good turnout. And we'll see you next week. And Try, you're putting together hopefully another magazine reading stream for next week.
Oh yeah, well we'll see. I haven't gotten confirmation from everyone who would need to be involved because I think we want.
But your hope is to do it.
My hope is that's my hope. That's my hope. I'd like to do a Nintendo Power reading stream like we did for the other one. With your
one that we did.
The other mags. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways,
good
night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.